Big Mac to my house. I'll bring my guys. You have yours. I've got Junkyard Dog.
It's World Wrestling Federation Superstars.
I've got Brutus Beefcake. Here's George the Animal Steel. I've got Great Hammer Valentine. Ricky the Dragon Steel.
Yeah! They're so real.
And Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Can you tell the difference? Wrestling Superstars. They're for real. Each sold separately from LJN.
Yeah! Here's a game about climbing up and sliding down. It's called Chutes and Ladders. You can land on something good, like rescuing a kitten in a tree.
Ah, you're going up, up, up the ladder.
Or land on Break the Cookie Jar. First one to climb to 100 wins. Chutes and Ladders really has its ups and downs, but mostly it's lots of fun. Chutes and Ladders is a Milton Bradley game.
Imagine a store where you can get the jeans you've always wanted. Now at Kids Incorporated at Meyer & Frank, you can. San Francisco riding gear with neat stitching on the back pocket, now in sizes for boys and girls. And nowhere in the whole world can you get those terrific Lawman Painter jeans except Kids Incorporated. Lawman, a real favorite, and right now for the first time ever at Kids Incorporated. Famous label jeans in kid sizes in Kids Incorporated at Meyer & Frank.
For everything under the tree.
An Atari video computer system and game cartridges from Meyer & Frank. Now through Christmas, these cartridges and the video game system are specially priced. Easy to hook up and easy to play against a partner or one-on-one with the computer. Sports games, action games, thinking games, a wide selection to choose from, all specially priced through Christmas. Meyer & Frank, all stores.
For everything under the tree.
53 to nothing. This team could use some magic.
Bake the magic.
Open the door to a wonderful show.
With Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies.
Bake the magic of pumpkin fresh dough. Hot chocolate chips when the other guys won. So chewy, ooey, gooey, they're a busload of fun.
They tackled those cookies.
You can make magic, you know we did. With the magic of pumpkin fresh dough.
Tough cleaning jobs is Snap with the Daisy Power Scrubber. Cleans upholstery, carpets, even grout and tile, and it's completely portable, now just $29.98. Send for the rebate, your final cost is just $26.98. It's another great season to shop at Fred Meyer.
Now, please pay attention. It's the latest thing, accurate to 100 feet in daylight or night.
Nice balance.
2 settings, narrow and wide beams.
Electronic sighting. Ingenious.
Obvious notion, actually. This is your star sensor. Registers up to 6 tags.
I hope it doesn't ruin the fit of my jacket.
Can't you take anything seriously?
Relax. It's only a game.
Laser tag. Available and moving at the speed of light.
The ale man, who can he be? Who is the ale man?
He's Colin Ratsey, famous sail manufacturer, company president, ale man. A man with a thirst for a manlier brew. Day is done, the race is won. Now hear this, all hands on deck for enjoyment, and that could only mean ale, Ballantine ale. Ballantine, the ale man's ale. Bolder, keener, more to the point. The choice of 3 out of 4 ale men among all national brands. Let Ballantine make an ale man out of you.
Who is the ale man? He could be you. A man with a thirst for a manlier brew. 3 out of 4 men every time choose the bolder, keener tasting ale. Ballantine.
Presenting Jewel's Sugarless Gum with so much more flavor, people forget it's sugarless.
Where is the word sugarless?
Jewel's has such fabulous flavor, I forgot. It's easy to forget Jewel's is sugarless. Compare Jewel's to Carefree. Jewel's has a delicious flavor center, and Jewel's has 29% more flavor.
Hey, this Jewel's tastes great, and it's sugarless, dummy.
Try Jewel's. So much more flavor, you'll forget it's sugarless.
Going live in about 12 seconds. Arbitrary shit.
Yes, what are you, fucking commie? Huh? No, I ain't no commie. Oh, you better not be. I don't want no commies in my car. No Christians either.
So even Dr. Fauci now admits that COVID-19 might have come out of a Wuhan lab. Not out of a meat market, not naturally, so to speak, jumping from bats to other animals to humans, but rather a manufactured virus negligently let loose by the Chinese through the Wuhan lab.
Boom! And there you have it, people. It's all right, prostate. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for the CREEM fucking stream. All right, that's where we take the news and we run it through our bowels, and it comes out just like everything else that comes out of our bowels. Here's some screaming in the background. Everybody okay?
Is there noise in my background?
I don't know, man.
Me neither. I wasn't looking.
I thought I heard something.
I hear teenagers.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Excuse me. I will be right back.
Just gonna go set it up.
I just got 10 teenagers in so much trouble. I got a youngin' killed. Holy smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Hugs. Right.
So what's that? Well, okay, shit. Well, I gotta wait for her to get back before we do the alphabet thing. The alphabet gimmick, as they say. I don't know. Is it a gimmick?
I guess. You can call it that.
If it is, it's a good gimmick.
It is a good gimmick, I agree. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta kill that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks.
No, yeah, I got booted out of the server for a second there. I was taking care of some stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and put that back up. I don't know how to take this thing out. Oh, we got some.
Ask Uzi, she knows how to take it out.
You got it. Yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry.
Be right back.
Hey, he's back.
There you go. All right, sorry about that. All right, now, now I'm set to go.
Sorry about that, man.
and that's it's one of those. So yeah, it's Creep Stream 175.
Oh, where'd he go?
Just lay back and let it happen.
You blamed Neil and then he disappeared, Johnny. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Still again.
All right, and in the house tonight. All right, so we're going back in alphabetical order. Even though Becca's not here tonight, she sends her regards and well wishes, family shit. She's fixing to kick one out of the nest, and she's happy as hell about it. But A begins. A is for Atima.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about all the interruptions, as you can tell. Life is so peaceful here. So calm.
Indeed. B is for Bon Sacco. Say hey, man.
Hi, everybody. I did. Good evening, everybody.
That's right. C is for she. C is for she gone.
Hey, everybody.
E is for Excel.
What's up?
And then getting on to Neil. Man. He goes,
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, Neil and I did a great ice cream on Sunday, and I recommend everybody go check it out if you haven't. It's getting some attention, so I really appreciate everybody that a lot of people like this guy. I don't know why. But I get it. I get it. It's got a huge dick. And that's okay. It's okay. We always need a friend with a huge dick, right?
You never.
Right? All right, R is for roasted. Sorry, y'all.
Howdy, everybody.
S is for stone monkey. Did you poop your pants? I thought he was going to poop. He didn't poop his pants. And T is for Trippypoop.
Huh? I'm Trippy. Yep. Hi, guys. Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah, you were.
Wake up. You need some coffee there?
Nah, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto on a different screen.
No.
Hey! Double dipping there. Yeah. And we'll just sit over here. We're in hell, people. That's right. How's everybody's week been?
Doing all right.
I'll save it for the 2 minute.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Super awesome.
Great. It's so good to hear that you're doing good for shit on, you know?
Yeah, I'm on vacation, so.
That's right. Didn't you go camping?
Yes, I did. And camping. It was really crazy. It was like something like 83, 84 degrees, and then the low the next day was like 50 degrees lower.
Dude.
It was like we woke up and we're like, it's freezing. Like super windy, so we like couldn't go fishing or anything. We're like, okay, all we're gonna do is like sit around a fire, and we burned up all our wood, and we're like, maybe we should just like leave and go do something else up north too. So, no, it was cool because like we went like a hike on hikes and stuff, and so yeah, I'm happy.
Looking for Bigfoot.
Groovy.
Yeah.
No, Bigfoot's here, not there.
Yeah, we
Bigfoot's
don't have
everywhere.
the Bigfoot thing. We have like Wendigo, I think.
We got
more.
they call it the Michigan Dogman. Ours is lame.
Well, the Wendigo.
It's all over the country.
I think Wendigo is like a Minnesota thing.
It's a it's a native thing, man. It's a northern native thing. It's a spirit of a possessed once a person commits cannibalism. They become possessed with the Wendigo, right? And then they become the Wendigo, and they live to eat human flesh.
Yeah, there's actually a story in Minnesota about how the Wendigo like was caught, and they burned it alive, and all the ashes flew up, and that's how mosquitoes came to be. That's why we get fed on them constantly here.
So mosquitoes are Wendigo ashes. Interesting. I guess it's a good explanation.
And remember, only one thing makes the tranny disappear. Only one thing, people.
Money sparks the purifying flame.
Indeed. And I'm going to keep the, just in case. But everything should be working like it's supposed to. I've even got it to where we can see all the chats now from Trovo, D-Live, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Because we have to juggle some stuff. I've been moving a lot of stuff over to Odyssey. Aircraft Sparky just got hooked up with streaming capability over there. So it looks like they're going to open that up at some point. So we're going to have a presence there for sure.
That's cool.
Yes, it is. Yes. So, all right, fam. No one's donating money, and it's getting goddamn ridiculous here. Anyway, I'm getting tired of looking at the training. I don't know what y'all.
That Ray's getting tired of it. He's like, fuck the money.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like everybody was so generous last week, man. I really appreciate that. And the chair is on the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like I'm actually really happy that for the community also, like, you know, like that was a big deal. I think everybody fucking understood why that was a big deal. Like, dude, you're fucking old, you're retired. This is your fucking retire, man. Like that's a big fucking thing in your life. I'm sorry. Like I don't want to minimize how important it is to have a guy like Irate to have a nice chair to just take his fucking shoes off and chill in.
Dude, you gotta have a captain's chair, you know.
Yeah, comfy butt.
When you're rolling the bridge.
Right. Like I got a little
Conducting
trippy hole. Instead of a bat cave, I got a clown hole.
That's right. You gotta have your chair there.
I got a firework launcher.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's right. They released those in GTA around 4th of July and shit. It's probably for Memorial Day.
Burn the flame. Let's say it to people in the chat, man. I almost forgot to do that. Hey. All right, and we'll go. I see Spittlebugs, of course, early, as usual. Nostradamus the Great, James Colley, Brad Young. Wow, we got a good Mason Mopus, of course, Richard Steele. Greetings, y'all. Let's see, Dumbbeard, of course. I salute you, sir. You give your wife a difficult task to complete, but she does it every time. She's awesome. Dumbbeard does to say that aspartame is garbage. I love it. Just saying, I got a difference about that. Pear to Bear, Cardi Groza, of course. Atheist Icon, Mr. Scott J87. That's right. W.R. Costin. Jeez, man, we got a great crew in here. So it's Friday night. Let's see. Casey Guayo, welcome. That's one of Nell's people, so we're gonna.
He's just trying to test everybody. That's all.
It's a new people.
Yeah.
He's just a troll. That's all. But he's cool people. I've known him for years.
All right. Well, all right. I'm on Casey. If you fuck up, I will take your wrench away. And I know Jackpot TVE is here. Finally, somebody, Carly Grossa donates $20. Skill the tranny. Man, it works every time, don't you think? It's awesome. All right, you got the cleansing flames of Jesus H. Christ. Mesa Mopus, $10. Make it go away. I need something good to happen this week.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I stole your thing on Sunday. I had found this dude on Twitch that it was like this really big fat dude. And he had like lady tits.
No, the Russian guy. Yeah. No. I was watching that with y'all.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody donate, and I'll take it down. Somebody donated. It was B. It was B Token who was on the stream.
Oh, dude. So Uzi and I went swimming the other day, and I thought I would look whiter than that dude, and I wasn't. So, you know, I think, who was it that said, was it Asherella said that he looked translucent. he was so white. He was like you could almost see through his skin and shit. That was funny.
So pale that you could see the cancer forming underneath the surface of the skin as he's exposed to the sun.
Yes.
Virgie,
Exactly.
Virgie G, quickly becoming a member of this here neighborhood. So it's good to see you, man. Welcome aboard. Let's see. All right, I'm just wrapping up here. Michael Hatfield, of course, you're always in here. Johnny Hellcat, Mr. Salute there. Hey, man. And Nathan Rita, welcome. So we'll start rolling from here. And this is when we do what I call 2 minutes of hate. It's based on the book of 1984, in case you didn't know that. And there are only 4 lights. Just remember that.
There are only 4 lights.
That's right. And so, and of course, we go alphabetically with your 2 minutes of hate, beginning with the tema. Let's try to keep it succinct and concise, people. Okay. All right. Go.
I'm gathering words here. It's been 2 years since I got injured initially, and for 2 years I have had about a dozen doctors ignore my list of symptoms, and the only reason I have anything to go on now is my physical therapist is like, well, I can't do anything else for you because all the symptoms you're displaying tell me that you have X problem and you need to go to this type of specialist, and we can't do shit till then. So I'm pretty pissed right now because it's been 2 years and these people have taken images and they've ignored me and all kinds of shit. So I'm done. It's been 2 years. I'm ready to punch somebody in the fucking face because on top of that, it is goddamn near impossible to get into a doctor around here. So fuck this place. Fuck this place.
Can you imagine what it'd be like if the government was in charge of that shit?
The government up here is pretty much in charge of almost all of it.
Oh shit. Well, then that may be a problem there, buddy.
Well, I was on state insurance for part of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it, but part of it. And it was no different either way. We'll have to see what good insurance does. But this is bullshit. I'm pissed. It's been 2 years. Fuck you people.
Gotta love that state insurance telling you what's a real problem and what's not a real problem, so we won't pay for it.
Well,
managed care, man.
Yeah, and if they had just addressed it at the beginning, instead of just ignoring what I'm saying, I wouldn't have needed fucking surgery. But guess what? Now I'm at the point where I need motherfucking surgery. And it's like, what? Fuck you people. I don't want to have fucking surgery. Fuck you fucking people, but I don't have a choice now. So, yeah. Fuck them. I'm done. I'm over it. I want out of here. These people don't know how to listen or anything. I'm so over it. I'm just done.
Mr. Scott donates $2. May I make a suggestion? When you reach your goal of Vanishing Demon, we also have a... Oh, shit. It was a long one. Also have position reinforcement by posting a small pic of a hot chick that gradually gets bigger with each donation. That's not a bad idea. Actually,
that's a really good idea.
I can make that happen, you know? But yeah,
a little booby inflation.
Everybody loves looking at titties. Okay, anyway. I mean, right? I'm not wrong. I am not incorrect. Exactly. All right, so let's see. Next in line, of course, is Bonsaco. You got 2 minutes of hatred? Anything you want to rail about for 2 minutes?
I don't know. I don't know if it's 2 minutes, but TikTok needs to go away.
Yes.
I am so tired of intersectional, non-binary. If you don't love me for my 2,000-pound titties dragging on the ground, you're fat phobic. Fuck off.
Fat shaming. You're fat shaming my fat.
Okay, you know what? By their rules, I'm fat phobic. I'm every phobic. Every is whatever.
You're a homoist.
Yeah.
I just say call me a bigot and let's get it over with because it's probably true.
Yeah,
Everybody's a bigot. In
I think
some way.
I think everybody's bigoted in some way, shape, or form, or has prejudice, which means to prejudge, prejustice, right? You feel a certain way about a certain situation or person.
Turns out that is a survival trait.
Right.
Yeah, it fucking is for a fucking reason.
All right, but this is Johnny's 2 minutes, man.
All right.
You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, so he's all right.
Blue hairs, green hairs, short hairs. I'm done. We need to new TikTok. Fuck you, TikTok.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
All the colored hairs. And you can't even ask them if the carpet matches the drapes because you get banned out of their chat.
That's one of the main reasons I really love Trippy, because he is funny as shit. And titties! Johnny Hellcat, $5. Thank you, sir. Oh my. Or
shit.
Yeah, it goes.
Oh
yeah. That's what it says.
And for jeans?
Not oh my. Jeans. They got like sleeve of wizard. All right, she gone? 2 minutes.
I don't really have much hate this week, really. The
Okay.
TikTok one was pretty funny. I don't know how to top that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Shigan is just got a sweet disposition, and we've got to change that. Okay, people?
Oh.
We can't have that shit. There's a lot of tea in this room, y'all. So it's a little testosteronage. Anyway, so Excel, what about you? Got 2 minutes of hate?
You motherfuckers that are selling your AMC stock just because you happen to double your money this week, right? Like, fuck you. Hold on to that shit. Like, this is a meme stock, and with meme stocks, you're gonna ride or die on it, right? It either goes to the moon or you lose all your money. That's the whole point of the game.
Is that it?
Right. Shit. Listen to Excel, he knows.
Hashtag AMC, hashtag Diamond Hands.
Hashtag. Okay.
Oh my god.
What's the hashtag? Is that the same as the pound sign?
No, I think it's some kind of like drug thing in Holland or some shit.
Yeah, probably.
Right. All right. Let's see. All right. How about Neil, man? Let's see. You got 2 minutes?
Well, I don't know how long it takes, but all I gotta say is I hate every single one of you equally.
Yeah.
You're all worthless in my eyes. That's right. Yeah, man. That's one of the greatest.
So sweet. Oh my.
You know, I love that movie. When I heard drill instructor Hartman say that shit, it put a smile on my face, because he said stuff secretly that I really feel about people inside. It is what it is. All right. So, anything else, Neil?
No, that's it.
All right. Cool.
All
right. Okay.
Am I the only person that just doesn't care and says it anyway?
What?
The thing you're not supposed to say out loud, I say it out loud just for the kids and shiggles.
That's right. All right. What about? All right. So Roasted said he had something hot to write on. So go.
Yeah, working on doing a little of revisions for my follow-up on infrastructure. Couple of things that are pissing me off. One is that thanks to the idiot inspector from my state who failed to properly inspect that I-40 bridge, now every bridge in the state of Arkansas is having to be re-inspected, because he's been inspecting bridges for the last 2 years, and he's been faking the funk because somehow he thinks the boom truck won't boom out over the side of the bridge so that he can actually look at the beams like he's supposed to. He was doing his inspections with a telephoto lens.
What the fuck?
And
my
binoculars.
God.
How the hell are you supposed to inspect cracks in metal structures with binoculars from a freaking half a mile away?
Over there.
That sounds like criminal. Like, shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's fired. He's very fired.
Shit.
Colleen's been doing some research on him. Oh my God. 15 years ago, this guy started as a mechanic, making like 26, 27 grand a year. 15 years later, he's making in excess of $75,000 a year. And he's still not an engineer. He's a welder. He's a mechanic, but he's not an engineer.
Yeah.
So he can actually fix the problems with the bridge.
So he
but
doesn't even know
might not
jack
be
shit
able to
about
identify it.
metallurgy, right?
Well, I mean, he knows how to inspect a weld. He knows how to lay a bead, but he may not actually know anything about how to calculate how the mechanical stress is shifting in the bridge.
I knew a
So,
dude that got
I
a
mean-
PhD in that shit, man, and it's like he was on a totally different mindset. You know, it's like you could just always talk to him, and he was like, he was just somewhere else. You know, I there was a part of him that was human, right? But you could tell there was part of him that was he was brilliant though.
But you could almost see the mathematical equations swirling around his head.
Yeah, exactly. And so this dude is an absolute moron that has allowed these bridges to just fucking. I mean, is he not like liable? Is he not like? Is there no like legal recourse where that dude can pay for that shit?
They're doing a investigation on it. He may be facing criminal charges. They have not announced yet. Since some of these bridges are, like interstates, the FBI is getting copied in on everything that they find. So he may be facing federal charges on top of state charges.
Damn. Oh, I can lay a bead too, man, with acetylene. All right.
Hell yeah.
Just saying. Yeah.
Just let Irate fix it.
Yeah.
I
with
can
just
lay a bead.
You can lay a bead with a torch.
I can lay a bead with oxyacetylene. I can lay a bead with TIG, and I can cut with plasma.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was the teacher's assistant for welding in high school.
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
All right. So we're back at Stone Monkey. You got 2 minutes of hate for us?
Well, I didn't win the car in GTA 5. Trippy got killed a whole bunch last night because the team he was playing with sucked. I got no real hate, but I stole a military helicopter, so I'm pretty happy right now.
There you go.
Take it out of context. That's kind of fucking crazy.
Right.
And it
Then
actually sounds like part of my husband's family.
And then I just literally landed this shit right on top of Trippy's business.
Yep. He sure did. I was riding with him.
Hey.
Oh,
fuck, did Trippy just jump up the roof?
Oh, shit, I died. Oh, jeez.
There's BECCA. She decided to stick her head in. Uzi came in. Everybody say hey to Uzi.
Hey.
That's right. All right. The family's all here now. Spittlebuggies said she was going to school to be a mathematician and got sick. Also went back to welding classes to relearn how to form wheelchairs. Fuck, that lazy bastardo. Well, fair enough. I don't know how to respond to that. Let's see. All right, so Monkey, you done?
Yeah, oh yeah.
With your hate? All right. So, all right. Trippy? 2 minutes
I
to
hate
4.
Dr. Fauci. That guy sucks.
Yeah, he's a fake. He's a phony.
Yeah, he's a phony, a great big phony.
Yeah, well, you
I've
know,
been
it's
saying that for fucking a year and a half.
We all know he's a fucking phony. You know what else? I mean, shit, I hate the fact that the media is just now catching up with the shit that we were saying back in 2019.
Oh, I've got some really cool stuff that illustrates.
But you're right.
Yeah, the second real
2019 about COVID, when people were saying it came from China and shit. Now the media, some of them, not any of them really, but like, you're hearing a little bit of whispers.
You got a document dump that happened in December that was from October, talking about the exact symptoms that are COVID now coming out of Wuhan and being shipped all over the globe.
Now they
there
knew
was
about
documentation back then.
Yeah, they knew about it in like September.
The overall perspective on this is Irate would have been banned from YouTube for
exactly. That's my fucking point right there.
The Wuhan hoax for a year, and now you can talk about it because official sources have come out and said, yeah, it probably did come from Wuhan.
So yeah, it's and officially, no one's gonna like go back and fix that either.
No.
Yeah. All those fuckers that got yeeted because of that shit. I was thinking the same shit this afternoon, man. And I was getting really pissed off about it. So
the moral of the story is companies like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they're not qualified to even decide on who the fact checker should be. Nobody is.
No.
Only you as an individual is qualified to determine who is a valid fact checker, not some company. Not anybody else on the fucking planet. It is you as an individual that can determine who a valid fact checker is.
Cannot disagree.
Right, that was deep. That was a little deep for the cream stream, but it's very true.
That's right. Say that shit for X deep, man. Yeah. All right. So, I guess it's time to move on. I've got a couple of newsreels put together. They should go pretty fast. There's stuff we can skip over, of course. But there's stuff I want to touch on, and that's going to be on the second reel, Trippy, what you were talking about. So, yeah, interesting stuff. So I guess let's go ahead and without any further ado, just hop in that TV room, like we like to do.
I'm ready.
And it's a TV room. You're coming to the TV room. TV room.
Running me over with a Corvette.
That's right, the TV room. There we go. Now there's a TV. What is happening? There's something messed up here. Need to.
I hit Monkey's car with a crowbar, so he was running me over with his Corvette.
Y'all are mean.
Yeah.
Don't be mean to each other.
He's all pissed off about his carbon fiber and shit. I'm getting ran over, you know.
It's GTA.
Right.
I guess it's equal. Yeah. No, this is happening in real life, Monkey. Shut up. It's happening in real life. I'm just really hard to kill. Yeah.
Which fishbowl am I in?
Yeah, we got the fish bowls, man. Listen while others are talking. Do not speak when someone else is talking. Raise your hand when you have an idea to share. These are the rules of the cream stream from now on. Especially the raise the hand thing, because none of us are on camera.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with that thing.
Why aren't you calling on me? My hand's been in the air for 5 minutes.
Right? It's like I'm holding it up with my other arm and everything.
My arm's getting tired. Call on me. Turn on your damn camera.
Buy a camera, get off the show.
Take a shit and get off the pot.
That too.
I
like sitting on the pot after I'm done.
Yeah, like seriously, what the fuck is supposed to be going on there?
It's a separation between people who are allowed to participate in class and people who have to observe class, because I'm guessing the people in the outer fishhole have some sort of historic privilege.
Freedom! Freedom! Maybe. Just a guess.
Maybe.
Maybe. Is it broken, Irate?
I found the problem. All right. Sorry, y'all.
All right.
I just creating problems for myself. So, yeah. All right. Without any further ado, fam, let's do this thing. Go live, go over here. All right.
For part of our closing today, we are going to listen to a group of today's facilitators discuss their session.
Shit.
And where they see themselves as part of an anti-racist Beaverton school district.
So I think, go ahead, Martina. I think that I think as a indigenous person, right, like that can also be a little bit more challenging. In my session, we looked at the collective history of Oregon and United States and race and education. And some of the conversations that we had is exactly what
y'all are going to find out why Tama homeschools her children. Right? This is Beaverton, Oregon school teacher meeting. Well, there's some highlights. I'm not going to. I've got all 44 minutes of this thing, right? But I condensed like the essential pieces to it. Check this shit out. You ain't gonna believe it.
Catherine was talking about that. The training there was so much lack in that training. And I just wanted to disrupt and point out that we started with 1,000 participants and there's 951. What does that mean as BIPOC educators and as BIPOC folks in this fishbowl and people who are still here? What does that mean to hold our colleagues accountable to continue to do that work? Because as BIPOC, we are doing this every single day. When we step into the room, when we wake up for Zoom, we've gone through so much history of pain and colonization and racism. And for you, I hope that you're thinking it doesn't stop at today's training. It's an actual practice of holding each other accountable, holding yourself accountable to that vision of anti-racism. If you say you're an anti-racist educator, reflect every single day, because as BIPOC educators, we do that in every single part of our lives.
I was reflecting a little bit on the history of equity work, not anti-racism work, but equity work in the school district. I was on the very first ELT cohort, the equity leadership team, and that was, 15, 16 years ago. First cohort, and we were going to change the world. And what I've seen over the last 15 or 16 years is there's a group of us, and now it's us, and we are absolutely enthusiastic and passionate and energized about doing equity work, but it doesn't go anywhere past us. It stays within the group. And there are a few of us who, when we bump into each other now, we kind of look at each other like we're in it together, but we need all 6,000 of us to be in it together. We can't have pockets of equity work or anti-racism work, anti-bias work, social justice. It has to be mandatory, and it has to be all of us, or it's never going to happen. It's like we keep putting one Band-Aid on a big gushing blood wound. And
what she means is putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound is the phrase. So, corrected.
And we need 100% of us to be on board and to move together.
I'm really, I've been reflecting a lot as a.
All right, listen to this bitch, man.
Oh, she was about to say as a.
Listen.
Anytime they say I'm speaking as a blank, it's something garbage.
What's BIPOC mean again?
Huh?
BIPOC. She was saying as a BIPOC.
BIPOC is brown and people of color.
People of color.
Brown, indigenous people of color.
Black indigenous because they're more important, I guess.
Well, I think brown
people
because like if you say black, then it means African Americans. I don't know what the hell's happening anymore. And why are black people in Britain called African American, or are they?
They're not. They're not Americans.
Well,
right?
I still think
they're not in
some
America.
British people will call them African American. Like,
you think?
They're stupid.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right.
Well, you're African American.
Check this bitch out. All right, y'all listen to this.
White person in the space, and I know that the majority of teachers in our district look like me. And I'm just speaking to everybody right now, and especially my white colleagues, that I think we've been too nice. We've been too nice. We're not being kind. Kindness is saying something when you know harm is happening. Even when we know the intentions of our colleagues are not matching those impacts, we dance around it too much. And we don't just say what it is. We don't center what's going on with our kids. We don't center what's happening with our BIPOC colleagues. And we just excuse away. And I count myself in that too. Like I've worked in this district for 14 years, and I can think of so many times I was silent. And I'm not going to just stew and sit in my shame about it. We can't do that. We have to move forward, and we have to think about how am I going to do better tomorrow? How am I going to be a better listener tomorrow? And say something when something needs to be said, and actually start dismantling the systems that perpetuate all of this. And I'm really blessed to have so many colleagues in this room and in my office that want to do the right thing. And if we can just talk about what the right thing actually looks like and listen to our families and our colleagues to actually define what the right way to go is, instead of just assuming that as experienced educators that we already know, when we don't. I don't know the right way to go. I need to listen to know. And but then where's the burden? Who's holding the burden of the change? And I'm trying to take more of that burden on because it hasn't been on me. And I could just say now is I'm gonna turn it off, and I can do that. But so many of our kids can't.
Yeah, nobody's zealous as a convert. Yes.
Well, if you there is not one single differing opinion in this entire thing.
Nope. There can't be.
Oh, it's about to get better too.
Was that one are nodding their heads and they're agreeing with every single thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, you can't disagree though. Neil, you can't disagree because then you're called a racist.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's all right.
With this.
Is that the Beaverton School District?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I was choking on, I don't know what. I just started choking, so I went to my bathroom real quick.
Okay. I said that I introduced it as like, this is why you fucking homeschool your children. All right, listen to what this lady says. And I question her race, okay? Because she's presenting as one thing, and I got a feeling that her complexion is a lot lighter, okay?
She's white as fuck.
Right, like Rachel Dolezal shit, right? All right, and that's what that in Tim, how far was Rachel Dolezal from where y'all are? Or is that was in Portland?
Dolezal? I thought she was in DC.
No. She was in Portland.
Was she?
Yeah.
Well, she was.
Well, she worked for the NCAA.
Okay, she was 2 miles away from me.
Right.
Portland is 2 miles away.
All right. Now, all right. So this lady is going to spell it out for everybody. And if you're not on board.
I love what you said, Caitlin, because I'm going to say something that's not nice and not sweet, but it's true.
She's doing that neck thing.
If you're not evolving into an anti-racist educator, you're making yourself obsolete in this field of profession. Our district is only getting browner and browner with our children. And so if, obviously you can't change your melanin, all right? But you can change your mind so that you can actually function in a district that is full of BIPOC children. So if you're being resistant, I understand that, but you're going to have to eventually come to the light, because if you're going to keep with those old views of colonialism, it's going to lead to being fired, because you're going to be doing damage to our children, trauma. And so as we fire the teachers who sexually abuse our children, we will be firing the teachers who do racist things to our children, traumatize them.
Sounds like a threat.
And while our district might not be completely on there, OEA is working on it. All right, NEA is working on it.
NEA is working on it.
Now, I want to point out, first of all, if she's trying to pander and say that she's becoming more woke, she's wearing the wrong shit. She needs to go put on a surah, and she needs to go don a fucking sombrero.
Yeah, well, yeah, the pose aspect of this bitch is
you just picked it up, dude. Everybody up here, this grift is retarded, because the majority of minority up here is Indian from India and Hispanic. That's the majority of the minorities.
All right, but she's threatening people.
Yeah, she is.
She's
and
like,
she's also pandering to the wrong group to do it.
Indeed.
Oregon is fucking lily white, guys.
Well, no, they're all like, so I've got all 44 minutes of this shit. Maybe we want to look at that tomorrow night. Tim.
Maybe, yeah, we could talk about that delusion, because this is an amazingly
everybody in it is
script.
like sucking her dick. I mean, well, they're sucking they're basically, going with the narrative that they're going with. You know what I'm saying? That the whole very. What?
I said it's because she listens to A Tribe Called Quest.
And so it's just a matter of time. So it's like you either evolve or dissolve. You've got to start one with us.
God, you are retarded.
The defense contractor, Lockheed Martin, the biggest in the world, ordered top executives to a 3-day virtual training to, quote, deconstruct their
Lockheed Martin
white male culture and unlearn their white male privilege. Amazingly, a total of 13 Lockheed employees obeyed. They went to the training like the bad little girls they are. That would include the vice president in charge of production of the F-35 fighter jet program, who obviously has no dignity, and a retired 3-star general who doesn't either. Chris Rufo is a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, a contributor to City Journal. He broke this story. He joins us now to tell us what this training session was like. Chris, thanks so much for coming on and for your reporting. What went on at this thing?
Well, this is a long-standing training program. Actually, 8,000 Lockheed Martin executives and employees have been through race re-education programs. And this one was particularly galling. They had these executives go through these exercises where they said that being a white male was analogous to being a KKK member, to being in the Aryan nation. They also said that, kind of funny way, white men can't jump. And all of these slurs and stereotypes about their own origins. And they take it through a series of exercises where they had to review 156 white male privilege statements, apologizing for their race, apologizing for their sex, apologizing for their orientation. And the question is this: if a 3-star general retired in the United States military can't stand up to a bunch of crackpot diversity trainers, how on earth are we going to stand up to communist China?
Well, that's, of course, that's right. Where's your dignity? You're an American citizen. You should never allow someone to talk to you that way. And they sat there like obedient castrados. Let me ask, this company wouldn't exist without federal contracts. They get billions of course.
Castrados, I love that word. Castrados. Castrado.
35.
Castrado. Yeah, the F-35.
From the Congress every year, Congress is pretending this stuff isn't happening. Is anyone in the Congress going to put a stop to this, do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. Lockheed Martin has tens of billions of dollars a year coming from taxpayers. I want to know how many programs that explicitly denigrate white males has Lockheed Martin done? Has taxpayer dollars been used? And I'd call right now on the United States Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives to launch an immediate inquiry to answer these questions, because the truth is really simple. Taxpayers should not be subsidizing woke racism at America's largest corporations.
Is there any response from Lockheed Martin when you ask them, how could you justify this?
Yeah, Lockheed responded today with a statement that could only be described as corporate gibberish. It was a series of meaningless buzzwords and statements. I think what's happened is that they've been caught, and internally they're probably scrambling to figure out how to respond, because the documents that you could see on my Twitter handle at my website are absolutely damning. This is a neo-racist program that's being forced on employees and subsidized by the taxpayer.
Why are you the only journalist doing these stories?
Neo-racist. I love that.
It's a good question. That gives me an advantage. This is my beat that I'm covering. But I think it's part of it is that people are scared to speak out on these issues. These are issues of race and culture that are the most sensitive in our country. And it's just going to take more people that have the courage to stand up and speak out and to say racism is wrong no matter where it comes from and who it's directed towards. That should be simple. But in our country today, it's a very scary proposition for too many people. I hope that changes.
I almost want to say that adult men who put up with this deserve it. I mean, who would put up with that for a second? You really have to have no self-respect whatsoever. But I still think it should be stopped. And I appreciate what you're doing to shine a light on it. Chris Rufo, grateful to have her on our air. Candace, so it's great to see you tonight. What's the message of this? U.S. embassies flying the Black Lives Matter flag.
The U.S. embassies are celebrating Black Death. The consequence of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I cringe when people call it Black Lives Matter protests, because you know what, Tucker? It is Black Lives Matter riots. The city's burned.
Yeah, our embassies are flying BLM flags.
I know, I'm pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
For 6 weeks straight following the death of George Floyd. Black neighborhoods were rioted, they were looted, and it led to more Black death. Way more Black Americans died during the Black Lives Matter riots than the one Black American that was killed by a police officer that allegedly started this entire spree. And it really makes you ask questions. Why is America promoting this so much? Why is America promoting Black Lives Matter, which is a corporation, right? So think of it as a corporation. Black Lives Matter raises money, and it's dark money, Tucker, because nobody knows where the money goes. So why would the U.S. government stand behind that? Where's the due diligence here? If the U.S. State Department is going to stand behind this, shouldn't the U.S. State Department also issue maybe a memo out to let us know where the money's going? Wouldn't that be the responsible thing, since Joe Biden wants to give billions more dollars to the IRS so they can take billions more from American taxpayers? Maybe he can also invest some of that money going to the IRS to look into Black Lives Matter and tell us where the money's going. I think they know where the money's going. I think that they don't want us to look into it. There is a reason they have been promoting Black Lives Matter from the start. It is definitely not because they want to save Black lives. Because Black Lives Matter, the movement and the incorporation, leads to more Black death. That much is indisputable.
As far as it's such a great point. And as far as I know, Black Lives Matter stands as a matter of policy against the nuclear family, which, speaking for myself, I think for you too, and for most people in this country, is the center of our lives. The nuclear family is kind of all that matters. Why, in our name as Americans and U.S. taxpayers, is the U.S. government promoting a group that opposes the nuclear family? Why are we putting up with this exactly?
Well, the government wants to make sure that families are torn apart. Every effort of what they do is to make sure families are torn apart. You did a very good job talking about even this trans agenda that's going on, which telling kids to pick their gender, telling kids to mutilate their bodies. I'm glad you covered that, because that also leads to the breakdown of family. A child that mutilates their body cannot have a productive family, right? Cannot have the nuclear family unit intact. That is the goal. And the goal is because if you believe in Karl Marx's ideologies, if you believe in Marxism, then you know what was crucial to Marx's ideology was making sure that the nuclear family and traditional families were broken down. Why, Tucker? Because in order for the government to replace mom and pop, there can be no mom and pop. They want you to turn to the government for every answer. They want no faith. They want no family. They want just government in the lives of every single American. This is Marxism manifest.
Yeah.
Bingo. She's right on it, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like she's been impressive since she's had her kid. I don't know what's changed, but her I don't know, her process seems a lot more focused and a lot more.
She's taking up for white men that are getting falsely accused of things too. And she's doing she don't give a shit, dude. She'll speak out when she knows for sure it ain't true.
Right.
There's There's music drama. Apparently, Nicole Arbor, who's a Canadian comedian who does shit on the internet, she was dating Ryan Upchurch, and when you know about that debacle, holy shit! Candace Owens came out with a specific like IG post video, just specifically addressing it and saying, "Stay the fuck away from Nicole Arbor. This bitch is nuts."
Hey, Sora Luna, Richard Steele. Let's say hi to everybody out there. Wrong thing. I'll see you.
So like she's even taken up for like every underdog she can find.
All right, so I'm going to kind of zip through this next part, but all right, the headline kind of tells you everything, and then
and maybe there's a point at which, if you're trying to destroy the nuclear family, we say, I'm sorry, that there's a line that you can't cross, and that's kind of it. Like, no, you're not allowed to do this. I hope people will start reaching that conclusion, because this is too far, in my view. Candace Owens, I appreciate the clarity that you always bring. One Sunday afternoon last September, a 16-year-old boy called Aaron Pryor was shot to death in a driveway near his home in Oakland, California. Even by the standards of midday drive-by shootings, it was an awful crime. Surveillance footage showed the killer firing more than a dozen rounds before fleeing. No one was arrested for the murder, but local media did not seem especially interested in finding out who did it, because they already knew. The coronavirus killed Aaron Pryor. That's what they told us. One local television station noted that violence in the area had risen since the pandemic began. They must be connected. Pryor's football coach agreed with this. It was COVID that really killed this kid, he told reporters. The coach didn't explain how exactly COVID had done this killing or what COVID's motive might have been, but no one asked. Everyone, particularly people in power, seemed happy to blame COVID. The pandemic did it. You heard that a lot, and not just in California. Across the country, in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio blamed rising crime rates squarely on the virus.
Police organizations will say that part of the reason the crime is up is because there has been a cut in funding to the NYPD. What do you say to that?
This predates any funding decisions. That's just the truth. The perfect storm I mentioned started in March and April when everything shut down, and we saw the violence start in earnest May into June, into July. It's clearly...
Yeah, it's COVID's fault. It has nothing to do with the shit that happened, I don't know, at BLM and, no shit. So we're going to go through. He goes through all the different cities and shit, and all these fucking assholes making excuses, and of course, reimagining public safety made us less safe. No shit. Defund the police is a huge failure. And
well, couldn't have.
Go ahead.
It couldn't have anything to do with the highest retirement rate in New York City that they've seen in decades, because they don't want to work in that city anymore for a mayor that doesn't support them. Jesus Christ.
Oh, let's go back.
No, my bad.
Cynthia Mixon. Yeah, no, you're doing great, man.
Bad. I'm just fucking with you, dude.
Jesus, the years are not being kind to her.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, y'all.
Basic necessities out of desperation to prosecute them. So you gotta wonder, what would happen if you showed up at Cynthia Nixon's place tonight and tried to help yourself to some, quote, basic necessities? Would Cynthia Nixon understand your theft as a profound form of social protest, as a form of social justice? Would she applaud it? Or would she tell her bodyguards to shoot you and then thank them profusely when they did? It's not a tough question. You'd be dead in seconds. Cynthia Nixon doesn't mean a word of what she says about crime. None of them mean a word of what they say about crime. They're just trying to feel like good people in a world that confuses destruction for virtue. These people need help. They should be nowhere near power.
I don't understand what's going on here. Okay. Now this is
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry.
These people need help. They should be nowhere near power. Unfortunately, at the moment, they run the Democratic Party, and all of us are seeing the results of that.
Ms. Ruby, what was your involvement in the incorporation of critical race theory or diversity, equity, and inclusion training at the Cynthia National Labs?
Senator Khan, thanks for that question. I'm a strong believer in diversity, equity, and inclusion training for our workforce. And in fact, study after study shows that the culture of institutions is the reason why we lose top talent, and particularly women and people of color. So my first statement is I'm a strong supporter and have benefited greatly personally and been part of an institution that's benefited greatly from diversity, equity, and inclusion training. The issues with the Sandia divisive training occurred after I left the laboratory, and I understand it has been reviewed, and if confirmed, I look forward to evaluating those reviews and making sure, well, no, I don't, but I do think we need to be open.
I think we can all agree that if you're American, no matter your race, sex, creed,
America is a fundamentally racist country.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up, you fucking.
No. All right, so no. She totally backpedals though. All right.
Okay.
All right. So she acknowledges that she's taken place with she's been facilitated all these little seminar things, et cetera, et cetera. And then he answered
be
this.
open to the issues that exist and that the cultures that exist that don't allow us to fully utilize all Americans in our science and technology enterprise.
So you don't see any danger in teaching these technicians who are in charge of our nuclear stockpiles that America is a fundamentally or systematically racist country?
I do not think America is a fundamentally racist country.
And so therefore you would also not permit any such training in the agency should you be confirmed?
What? That is correct. I would want to make sure all of our training was high quality.
Thank you. I think we all agree that if you're American, no matter your race, sex, creed, preference, and that especially if you're gifted in fields like math, physics, chemistry, or engineering, that we want you and we need you at the NNSA. But I hope that we also treat our workforce with respect and don't subject any of these highly trained professionals to this very foolish kind of training that teaches them that one race is inherently guilty by birth or one race is inherently oppressed by birth or that America is somehow a fundamentally racist or irredeemable or hateful country. I would suggest that's a very bad way to chase out some of our very best employees and put them into the arms of the private sector. Thank you very much for your interest today. Thank you all for your appearance.
Administrator Guzman, I've sent 2 letters to you signed by 50% of the committee members requesting specific information regarding PPP loans to Planned Parenthood affiliates. We have not gotten a response so far. How many first draw PPP loans have been approved to Planned Parenthood affiliates?
So specifically on specific borrowers, the SBA has not commented on specific borrowers.
I'm asking you. I'm in charge of oversight over your $1 trillion agency, and I'm asking you, how many have been approved?
Well, we don't publicly release that information. And one
So you are in defiance of Congress. You will do what you want, not what Congress wants.
We have provided you a full listing.
You have not provided us with any listing of Planned Parenthood affiliates who've received money. This is an ongoing problem. The previous administration said it was unlawful. This is a big deal. The previous administration said it was unlawful and told them to return the money. Your administration is now giving them money. This is a legal question. This is a big deal. This isn't something you come to Congress and just say, I'm not going to answer the questions.
Not at all. While I can't discuss specific borrower information.
No, no one is stopping you from discussing this. In your written testimony, you discussed an individual recipient of money through the program. So you are willing to talk about individual recipients. You're just not willing to talk about Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. Check that out.
Precisely.
Parenthood. But there is a legal question here.
Just quick,
we want to know how many first draw loans were.
Oh, just I rate your mic's a little sensitive. And Johnny Bonsacco is. It says he's talking, but he's not. It's just the way their mics are. The chat was asking. Just.
What is it?
It's showing. Yeah, it's showing Bonnie's. God damn it! It's showing Johnny's microphone to be on constantly, but it's not his fault.
Yeah, it just looks like they're talking, but they're not. Just chat. Don't worry about it. They're here.
Johnny,
if they talk, you'll hear them.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're they're snake bit because of all the times that I've boomered this shit and been going on a killer rant. I mean, just solid gold shit, and then realize that I've been muted the whole time to both y'all and the fucking team. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, and I appreciate the diligence in the chat. Interaction is always a good thing. Yes, Richard Steele, I am here, and I did get your DM. I'll hit you up tomorrow and talk to you. Okay. And on that, let's keep going. All right. So Rand Paul, he basically squoze this bitch and she weaseled out of it. All right. Because, she's just a critter of the deal. She is a child of her time. All right. And I want to get to this point with Rand Paul now. All right, check this out. I don't know if y'all knew this, but...
Now investigating the large envelope which was addressed to Paul's home in Kentucky. On the outside was this photo with the message, quote, "I'll finish what your neighbor started." This comes after Richard Marx, a 1980s singer who now has a podcast, tweeted, "I'll say it again. If I ever meet Rand Paul's neighbor, I'm going to hug him and buy him as many drinks as he can consume." Marx was referring to the 2017 incident when Paul was assaulted by his neighbor. Marx says Paul's decision not to get the COVID-19 vaccine is putting others at risk. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is here exclusively. Senator, good to have you with us today. You tweeted, "I have been targeted multiple times now. It is reprehensible that Twitter allows C-list celebrities," referring to Marx, "to advocate for violence against me and my family." But let's start with where this investigation is now. Any information on who may have sent you this letter with the white powder?
No, they will investigate it. It's hard to find people who send things through the mail, but they do sometimes, and they will continue to look. But for people like this, songwriter from a long time ago that no one's ever heard of, the thing is that hundreds of people on Twitter every day are wishing me violence, wishing my family violence. Twitter claims that they have a policy, but they don't take it down. They leave it up. Twitter's now announced today this guy doesn't violate their policy, so he's allowed to offer to buy drinks to somebody. I almost died at one time from the infections and from the lung surgery that I had, and they're allowed to go on Twitter every day. This company allows them to go, and it's a private company, so they can do it if they want. But this is a private company that basically hates conservatives, hates Republicans. They don't want us on there. And ultimately, the answer maybe is Republicans need to just quit. We just need to leave it because every day they allow hundreds, if not thousands of people to wish me and my family violence. And frankly, I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of them allowing this, and I'm tired of them blaming it on the right. I was at the ball field when a Bernie Sanders shooter almost killed Steve Scalise, wounded 5 other people. So I'm sick and tired of the violence coming from the left, but I'm sick and tired of the left-wing press and then blaming it all on Donald Trump or on me or others. So I'm tired of it.
You make an excellent point. And, when I think about people who I've heard of and known who, retweeted an article or something, and then suddenly they get shut down. And you look at this stuff that has been coming at you, and I think it's understandable that you feel that there should be some ramifications for this. The problem is there's no standard. It's so arbitrary. They just sort of decide whether or not they like something or someone, and they're okay with it. So somebody, tweeted about what Mr. Marks wrote, and then he, says back to this guy, John Dennis, you see Johnny Bob, and he goes after him. He says, I never incited or even suggested that anyone be violent. He talks about Trump and Mar-a-Lago. What do you say to his claim that he never suggested anybody do any violence towards you?
Well, I had 6 ribs broken, 3 of them dislocated where they rubbed on each other for weeks and weeks till they healed. They damaged my lung. I had pneumonia twice. A year later, I was coughing up blood, then had to have a portion of my lung removed, then got an infection in the space between the lung and the chest wall and almost died from that and have permanent scarring on my lung. And he's offering a guy to buy drinks if somebody will do it again and finish the job. That sounds to me like he's advocating violence. Sounds like he's a despicable human. But think also about what he's angry about.
Richard Marx is a shit musician, wrote shitty songs, played shitty songs, and was basically a blip on fucking MTV's radar.
He's an irrational idiot. He's angry because I'm not getting vaccinated. Well, guess what? In India, there's not enough vaccines. Do you think we should be debating whether people in India should be getting the vaccines who have already had the disease, or whether we should save the vaccine for those who have not gotten the disease? This is a discussion that is a public health discussion that could save millions of lives. In Israel, they discovered that those who had gotten the disease survived equally well to those who had gotten the vaccine. It's about the same. So when there's not enough vaccine for the world, the advice to the countries who don't have enough vaccine is incredibly important. Millions of lives depend on it. And that's the idea that I have, that you should vaccinate first those who have not had the disease and let the people who have the disease count on their natural immunity. Nobody wants to get infected, but if you've been infected, you have some natural immunity. This should not be a political issue. They should not want to kill me and send anthrax to my house.
I don't understand the anger over this, and I also don't understand why we're doing so much national testing. Why aren't we testing people for antibodies so that they can decide, well, then I guess I can wait a little while. I have some natural immunity. Perhaps it should go to someone in India, as you well point out, who maybe needs the vaccine more than I do. The fact that this drives people to such anger is, I think, I don't know, it says something about our society.
Because India doesn't pay as good as America.
Pound a round peg in a square hole. Nobody's allowed to have the freedom to make their choices, and it's a sad day for America if we let this group thing take over.
Senator Paul, thank you.
And Senator, it's great to see you this morning. I want to congratulate you and thank you for holding people to account. You recently held Dr. Anthony Fauci to account with a fiery back and forth. The leadership, you continue to come out, holding people's feet to the fire and making sure that the audiences and the communities understand where the truth lies. And you get attacked for it over and over again. From your neighbor to the crowds in Washington that you and your wife had to deal with to now a suspicious package that arrived at your home in Kentucky. I want to bring in your wife. Kelly Paul is with us as well this morning. Senator Paul and Kelly Paul, we appreciate you joining us to talk about what has become incredibly personal to you both. You saw a package, you received a package at your home containing white powder that was later deemed harmless, but there was a photo of a bruised and bandaged picture of you, Senator, with a gun to your head, threatening violence. Kelly, let me bring you in before I get the Senator's comment here. How did you feel when you got this package? Can you tell us what happened?
Hi, Maria. Well, I was scared, obviously. It's a terrible feeling. Your heart just sort of drops. It was a sunny Monday afternoon, and I walked to my mailbox, and I had a quite big stack of mail, and I was standing in my front yard, so thank goodness I really wasn't in the house. I never brought the letter into the house. I was standing sort of right up to my front steps, and I started shuffling through the mail, and I looked down and I see this horrible image of a wounded Rand, a doctored image with a gun against his head. And I look down and it says, I'm going to finish what the other guy started, you MFer. And I just, froze and was disgusted. And so I went to sort of throw the letter down. I didn't open it, but as I did, I could feel something that sounded like sand, like a weighty substance. I could feel it moving in the letter. So I ran inside. I washed my hands. Of course, I was terrified. You think of anthrax. You think of the poisonings that happened years ago when people sent poisons in the mail, ricin or anthrax. Immediately called Rand, the FBI, the sheriffs, and everyone's telling me, take off all your clothes because I had been holding the mail up against my chest, get in the shower. So I had, several hours before I found out that it was non-toxic, thinking that I might have been poisoned. I had someone from.
Yeah, man, and they terrified her. Remember when they did the thing at the White House, and the fucking people were surrounding them, trying to intimidate them and shit
at them.
Throw them, yeah, exactly. This poor. I mean, come on, man.
And they're both fucking tiny.
Leave the wives out of it.
And they're tiny. They're both really small people.
Yeah, indeed.
Like, they're tiny.
The
Itty
FBI
bitty,
saying,
like,
are you
yeah.
having any shortness of breath? And, there are lethal poisons. It was very thin paper, so I'm thinking, have I absorbed something through my hands? It was really a terrifying day, and it's pure terrorism. People are just trying to terrorize us into silence, for being a public servant.
Yeah, that's right. And Senator, it's not the first time you got beaten up by your next door neighbor at one point, and then you both were crowded and smushed together by.
On everybody's mind right now, at all. Period.
Richard Steele asks, why are multiple people trying to kill Rand Paul? That is a great question. And that's the reason I put this part of the package together. Why? They must be terrified of this guy. Why?
Well, they're terrified of everybody that is against the very far left. And we all know this.
Well, and he's the one that's been pushing back against Fauci the hardest, and he's a real doctor. Just saying.
I mean...
All right, we'll keep going. All right, this is almost over.
Crowds after the Republican National Convention when you had demonstrators surrounding and chasing.
I think it's important. There wasn't an altercation or a fight with the person that assaulted me. I was hit from behind by somebody running full blast down a hill. Never was aware of who hit me or what hit me. Had 6 ribs broken, my lung damaged, and part of my lung removed. But here's the point. We have people on the left who think it's just hilarious. Stephen Colbert thinks it's great to make fun of the injuries I had. I had 6 broken ribs, a damaged lung, part of my lung removed. And so when Colbert and all these other people think they're so funny and they get everybody on the internet all ginned up, guess what? They encourage crazy people across the country. CNN puts my house on Google Map on television, tells everybody where I live. So this has got to stop. But the left thinks it's just hilarious what happened to me, and they encourage other people to do it. That's the whole meme on the internet. All these people just think it's hilarious. Come and finish the job. Oh, that's really funny. I almost died, and they think it's really funny, and they want to do it again. Twitter doesn't do a damn thing. I finally talked to them, and they took this one down. But was the guy punished? No, the guy that keeps saying this. We got the white powder the day after some has-been songwriter, encouraged people to come over and finish the job, and says he's going to buy drinks for anybody that'll come and assault me again. There was no fight. I was hit from...
So even Dr. Fauci now admits that COVID-19 might have come out of a Wuhan lab. Not out of a meat market, not naturally, so to speak, jumping from bats to other animals to humans, but rather a manufactured virus, negligently let loose through the Wuhan lab. Listen.
That has been the subject of a lot of our fact-checking on the coronavirus for the past year. And like
We've
you said,
been talking
there's a lot of
about
cloudiness
this
around the origins of
since
COVID-19 still. So I
2019.
wanted to ask, are you still confident that it developed naturally?
No, actually, that's the point that I said. And I think the real unfortunate aspect of what Senator Paul did is he was conflating research in a collaborative way with Chinese scientists, which was, you'd almost have to say if we did not do that, we would almost be irresponsible because SARS-CoV-1 clearly originated in China, and we were fortunate to escape a major pandemic. So we really had to learn a lot more about the viruses that were there, about whether or not people were getting infected with bad viruses. So in a very minor collaboration, as part of a subcontract of a grant, we had a collaboration with some Chinese scientists. And what he conflated that is that therefore we were involved in creating the virus, which is the most ridiculous, majestic leap I've ever heard of. But no, I'm not convinced about that. I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we find out to the best of our ability exactly what happened. Certainly, the people who've investigated say it likely was the emergence from an animal reservoir that then infected individuals, but it could have been something else, and we need to find that out. So, that's the reason why I said I'm perfectly in favor of any investigation that looks into the origin of the virus.
Now, here's Fauci with his usual duck and weave, his usual jabs at Senator Rand Paul, and he seems to be taking the position that, yes, the United States does fund so-called gain-of-function research. Another way of saying the United States does contribute to making deadly viruses. And yes, the Chinese, too, were doing this kind of research. And yes, there were collaborations between the U.S. labs and the Chinese labs, but relatively minor, according to Fauci. And therefore, the United States is not culpable directly for funding COVID-19 and sort of getting it started, causing, you may say, this global epidemic. But notice what Fauci is admitting. He's admitting that this is a virus that could have come out of this gain-of-function research. It could have come from the Chinese lab. This was part of a project that the United States and the Chinese were in on together, both pursuing this kind of very dangerous research. And what strikes me about all this is not only Fauci's change of position, because earlier Fauci was very confident in saying, no, this virus emerged naturally out of a meat market or something similar to that. And let's remember that these claims by Fauci and also by a bunch of scientists who were collaborating in this research had a direct stake in it, were very eager to deflect blame from themselves. They had, in other words, an interest in shifting the blame to a sort of natural cause, to the meat market. All of these people, in declaring that the lab theory was misinformation, was debunked, set off a media frenzy of attacking mocking all the people who raised the alternate theory, including Senator Tom Cotton, and also the digital censors. I mean, think about what it means when you declare that a position is misinformation and start banning people and taking down their posts. And of course, the idiocy here is that you don't know that something is misinformation until it's publicly debated. If you won't let the two theories be heard and let the rival arguments stack up one against the other, how do you know which theory is more persuasive? So the digital censors, in a sense, are causing misinformation by, in a sense, awarding the prize to one point of view in advance and then canceling out everybody who argues a rival point of view as though they've already been debunked, as though they've already been proven to be liars. So all of this, I think, as we look back on it, will be seen as part of the sick, demented, one-sided, controlling influence that COVID has had, not just on our life, but also on our ideas. You may say on the life of
Critics are going after CNN anchor Chris Cuomo again, this time for something he told his viewers last night.
The government had not been open to the lab theory. That is why it is so politically charged. It was dismissed as a conspiracy early on. The two, COVID was passed from animals to humans, or it originated from a lab accident. Now, the second is a newer notion, okay? The government had not been open to the lab theory. That is why it is so politically charged.
No, it's not.
It was dismissed.
Hold on, y'all. Just bear with it. Shake the shit
as a
up.
Conspiracy early on, but now is under serious consideration. Why? An Intel report determined several researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology were hospitalized for an unknown illness in November 2019, the month before China reported its first COVID case.
Yep.
Suspicious. So why is it politically charged? Because Trumpers, who were complicit in playing down the pandemic reality in America, are now seeing more interest in the China lab theory as some kind of vindication, enough to play I told you so with Fauci.
One Twitter user called Chris Cuomo a straight-up liar, writing, "This would matter to a responsible journalistic outfit, but thankfully for Cuomo, he works for CNN." A Newsbusters news analyst pointed out that Cuomo himself called it breaking news when he reported the U.S. was looking at the lab theory back in April of 2020. Check this out.
All right, we have breaking news on our watch. It is a very provocative headline. I'm just getting it. Let's go through it together in real time. Here's the headline. The United States is pursuing the theory that the virus started in a Chinese lab, not a market. I know the internet is rife with conspiracy theories and concerns that this was something that was worked on, that was designed, and that's why we don't understand it. And, you know, as we had to learn from the White House backwards, COVID-19 isn't the 19th version of anything. It was discovered in 2019. That's what it means. But beyond the coding of it, we know very little. And part of the curiosity is we don't know a lot because somebody changed a virus structure enough to make it a mystery for us. Now, what is behind the headline? All right. I think we're going to have to back off about a half a step. Here's why. U.S. intel and national security officials say the United States government continues to investigate whether the coronavirus originated in a Chinese laboratory, not a wet market. This is according to multiple sources familiar with the matter. So they are investigating. It's not as strong as they believe that's what happened. They're investigating a theory. So it doesn't take us close enough. But what does it do? Well, it starts to push holes in the idea of why was this lab in Wuhan? One theory is, well, it's in Wuhan because it's a catchment area. Food comes from all over China into this area with these markets. So it's a logical place to be. But
those markets are in like fucking every little town and city
What?
throughout the whole fucking country. You know, it's like, this is right when this shit started happening, right? Remember, he was exposed, so he had to go downstairs and do his little fake quarantine thing. And this is back then. This is back then. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the lab theory back then. He himself was talking about
if they're investigating it and they can get sources, other sources told CNN the U.S. intel hasn't been able to corroborate the theory, but is trying to discern whether someone was infected in the lab or it was about poor handling. So this is a story to watch. I know many are curious about it. New information. They are looking at it at the U.S. intel level. As we get more, you'll get more.
Joe Biden wants you to know that he has suddenly, a year and a half in, developed a mild curiosity about where this pandemic came from. It turns out the virus probably didn't originate in Omaha. More than that, Joe Biden can't say. But he's put some of his top sleuths on it, the super spies in the so-called intel community, and they have promised to report back at some point. As of today, 2/3 of Joe Biden's spies believe the virus jumped naturally to human beings from an infected animal, as viruses so often do as you peruse the pangolin aisle in your local wet market. The spies who believe that are the ones who have never spoken to a working virologist and don't have internet access. But the other third, Joe Biden told us today, quote, lean more toward the theory that COVID escaped from a nearby government lab in Wuhan that happened to be conducting dangerous experiments on nearly identical bat coronaviruses at the same time. That's a minority of spies who believe that, but they're open to the possibility. Who knows, really? Either way, Joe Biden explained, we're going to get some answers, or at least more questions, possibly several months from now. So rest assured, the White House is on it. And to be honest, we doubted that. Just hours before Joe Biden's announcement, we learned that the White House had shut down a large, ongoing, and legitimate federal investigation into the origins of this pandemic.
Yeah, the one that Pompeo started under Trump's orders, right? It had been going since December. and they shut it down to start their investigation.
Investigation had been going on for months.
24 hours
It was being conducted by
later.
the State Department's Bureau of Arms Control Verification and Compliance. That's the bureau responsible for ensuring that countries like China are not stockpiling deadly illegal bioweapons, such as, for example, obscure bat coronaviruses that have been manipulated in labs by military scientists to make them more transmissible in, say, New York City. So why did the White House shut down that ongoing investigation? Well, at a hearing today, senior officials at the National Institutes of Health, that would include Dr. Tony Fauci, said they had no idea why the White House shut it down. They said they first heard about it on the news. And that seemed odd, given that the NIH does employ the nation's foremost experts on infectious diseases. And of course, they're closely linked to the story. It was NIH, it was your tax dollars actually, but funneled through NIH, that funded some of the grotesque and dangerous research at the now infamous Wuhan Institute of Technology that may have caused the destruction of the West. So today, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana asked all of these questions. Here's how it went.
Why did you guys spike, not guys and ladies, why did y'all spike the prior administration's investigation into the origins of the coronavirus and whether it could have come out of the Wuhan lab?
Sir, we did not spike anything in the prior administration. I'm not sure what you mean by spike, but we have no influence.
The State Department spiked the prior administration's study.
But that has nothing to do with the National Institutes of
So
Health.
they didn't consult with y'all?
They did not.
Did they consult with you, Dr. Collins?
I read about it in the press this morning.
Doc, they just spiked it without talking to their experts? You don't want to answer that one, do you?
No, they definitely didn't want to answer. So we still don't know why the White House ended a months-long investigation into the central question of the moment. We also don't know what that investigation found before it was closed. We do have some ideas about that, though. A fact sheet released by the State Department in the closing days of the last administration, written by some of the same people who were doing the investigation the Biden administration shut down, told us that several researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology became seriously ill in the fall of 2019. They had, quote, symptoms consistent with both COVID-19 and common seasonal illness. 3 of them went to the hospital. Now, that came out in January. The American media caught up this week. The intel community confirmed it. In a statement to Fox News today, the State Department contractor that led that now-defunct probe, a man called David Asher, reiterated that based on that investigation's findings so far, quote, there is probable cause for deep suspicion that the virus escaped from the lab in Wuhan and the Chinese government lied about it. So why don't we know more? Well, according to that same David Asher, powerful forces in the State Department did not want to know more. They didn't want to continue asking questions. They didn't like the investigation. Whose side are they on, you wonder? And David Asher clearly is wondering the same thing. Quote, some of our colleagues were deliberately playing down possible links to China's biological weapons program. End quote. Now, why would they be doing that? Again, whose side are they on? This was all very troubling to David Asher, who spent a lot of time looking into this, given that countries like China, quote, openly aim to incorporate synthetic biology into the future of warfare, apparently with our naive material and scientific assistance. End quote. Now, that's a reference, of course, to the money that flowed from the U.S. government through NIH to the Wuhan lab to do research that may have been connected to this pandemic. David Asher named a man called Chris Ford, that's the former acting undersecretary for arms control at the State Department, as someone who, quote, didn't want to delve into the potential of an accidental lab release, let alone one related to a possible classified Chinese military program in violation of arms conventions. Now, why would an official in the U.S. government not want to know more about an adversary, a foreign adversary, violating international law and imperiling the lives of millions?
Because he's a pussy, or he's in their pocket. One or the other. They could pick.
That's a great question. Now, Ford himself responded to Fox News, and he said he had, quote, procedural and structural concerns about the probe, including that he was kept out of the loop until December. But he emphasized, quote, the lab origin theory is very possible, and China must be held to account. There are all sorts of reasons to worry about possible lab origins, and it's critical to get to the bottom of it.
Maybe he was a leaker. You think that might be a thing?
So that's Chris Ford's position now. We hope it always has been. It should be the position of everyone in the U.S. government. Suddenly it's the position of the U.S. media. Virtually every news organization in the country spent the last week frantically updating its lies about this story. They told you for more than a year it was a conspiracy theory. Now they're pretending they never said that. Even Tony Fauci's had to revise his views on this. He dismissed it out of hand. He and Francis Collins at the NIH called it outrageous to ask questions about it. Now, a new Tony Fauci. Just a few hours ago, Fauci admitted that he really has no idea what kind of research was going on at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but we probably should look into it.
How do you know they didn't lie to you and use the money for gain-of-function research anyway?
Well, we've seen the results of the experiments that were done and that were published, and that the viruses that they studied are on public databases now. So none of that was gain-of-function. So
how do you know they didn't do the research and not put it on their website?
There's no way of guaranteeing that.
So Fauci, with a straight face, just said, we can be certain that no U.S. tax dollars went to gain-of-function experiments because the Chinese didn't write about it on the internet. That's how we know. With a straight face. And when pressed just a little bit by one of the very few senators who's not brain dead, Fauci admitted actually no, he has no idea, really, what U.S. tax dollars went to, which experiments they funded at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Either way, this is a total revision of Anthony Fauci's position on the subject. Just a few days ago, that he was incensed, he was outraged, morally appalled by the suggestion that he had funded gain-of-function experiments in China. Now he's conceding, yeah, it's totally possible. But of course, he has always known that it was totally possible. The grant that Tony Fauci approved for research at the Wuhan lab explicitly permits gain-of-function experiments. In 2014, Tony Fauci's NIAID approved a grant for a project called Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence. That project would be run by a group called EcoHealth Alliance, overseen by a man called Peter Daszak. If that name sounds familiar, that's the same Peter Daszak who spent the last year telling the world at high volume there's no chance this virus escaped from the lab, and then was appointed by the World Health Organization to investigate the origins of COVID and declared the Wuhan lab blameless. What a scam. But the grant from Fauci's NIAID states that it will fund Peter Daszak to, quote, test predictions of coronavirus interspecies transmission.
So they got the investigator for the WHO investigation to do this one.
Predictive models of host range, i.e. emergence potential, and will be tested experimentally using reverse genetics, pseudovirus, and receptor binding assays and virus infection experiments across a range of cell cultures from different species and humanized mice. Oh, so actually that's quite a broad range. Run that by any scientist and they will tell you a lot fits under that description. But specifically, what did those virus infection experiments with bat coronaviruses consist of precisely?
Hey,
Well, we
hey,
don't know.
Jax.
We have some idea. Seems like maybe the results are all
What's
around
up,
us.
man?
The White House wants you to calm down. They want you on the intelligence community, and no one else will have to answer these questions at some point in the next few months. And if you can't trust them, who can you trust? You don't need a real investigation. You can take their word for it.
Thanks all of you for being here. I think I'll direct this to Dr. Fauci, but I welcome everybody's answer. I just want to go through what we do know. We've heard a lot about what we don't know. So here are the things that we do know, okay? So SARS-1, we identified the host animal within 4 months. MERS, I believe we identified the host animal within now been 15 and a half, 16 months. We've still not seen, and China's not produced any evidence of the host animal that transmitted COVID-19 to a human. We know that China has a history of lab accidents. I think, Dr. Fauci, you answered Senator Graham's question. I think he phrased it as, has there ever been a pandemic that came out of a laboratory? And the answer was no. But we do know of outbreaks that came out of a laboratory. I believe back in 2004, 2 researchers in Beijing were infected doing research on SARS and it led to an outbreak. China has a history of lab accidents. This outbreak happened in a city that happened to be the home, coincidentally, of a lab which we know is involved in extensive research. And what they do is they take this naturally occurring virus and they manipulate it and they change it to make it infectious to humans. We know that they do that there. They've published about it. And it also happened in a city, in a lab, where a Rutgers biosecurity expert raised concerns about its safety. And our diplomats in 2018 were cabling back to Washington expressing concern about the safety. So I take all those facts together, right? SARS, we knew the host in 4 months. MERS, we knew the host in 9. We still don't know the host for COVID, even though, and China's not being transparent about it, even though they have a vested interest in producing the host, so they can put all this down. In a lab that we know is involved in changing viruses synthetically so that they become infectious for humans, in a lab that diplomats have told us is unsafe, in a country that had a history of lab leaks, and by the way, in a virus that we know can be synthetically created because the Swiss did it. The Swiss created an exact replica of this virus in the lab for purposes of answering it. All these facts were available to us last April. I'll start with Dr. Fauci. Why did you dismiss the lab leak theory as credible?
I have always said that the high likelihood is that this is a natural occurrence. I didn't dismiss anything. I just said it's a high likelihood that this is a natural occurrence from the environment of an animal reservoir that we have not yet identified. Well, I still maintain that, but as I just mentioned in response to other questions, that since you don't know 100% about that, because no one knows, including me, 100% what the origin is the reason why we're in favor of further investigation.
Well, given everything I've decided, and if anything I decided is incorrect, I hope will be correct. I'm relying on the study, so I'm relying on what other experts have published. What is the basis for this high likelihood? What is the basis for the conclusion that it's likelier to have been naturally occurring than a lab accident? I asked a specific question to the Director of National Intelligence, and how I posed it is it not true that it is the assessment that they are equally likely based on our information that we have? So as I outline all of these things here, is she wrong when she answered me yes? And based on everything I've decided, what is it that we're basing the higher likelihood of naturally occurring? Is it simply because that's all we've ever seen in the past?
Well, we have historical experience that happened with SARS-CoV-1. It happened with MERS. It happened with HIV. It happened with virtually all the influenza pandemics. So the historical basis for pandemics evolving naturally from an animal reservoir is extremely strong. And it's for that reason that we felt that something similar like this has a much higher likelihood. But again, getting back to what I said, and let me repeat so there's no lack of clarity in that, no one knows, not even I, 100% at this point, which is the reason why we are in favor of further investigation.
But going back to precedent, the precedents require them to be similar. The difference between this one and that one is, and as I said, 4 months we knew the host for SARS, 9 months we knew the host for MERS. China has all the incentive in the world
I
to produce
couldn't
these hosts and haven't done
understand
so. And then
anything
you
he
add all these
said
other things. I mean, is it just a coincidence that happened in the city that's doing this kind of research, which by the way is controversial? I know you guys have been supportive of it, but it's controversial. It's not widely accepted as good. My whole point is there are people out there who had Facebook posts taken down, called kooks, conspiracy theorists, for saying publicly a year ago what we now say may be possible. And I think those people deserve an apology at a minimum. Thank you.
No confidence that they're going to hold China accountable. We don't have to look any further than their first 100 days in office to see that they're more in appeasement mode than they are in attack mode. We need to get to the bottom of it. It doesn't take 90 days to do it. What it does is it takes a tough administration at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That was former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows slamming President Biden for pulling the plug on the State Department's investigation into the origins of COVID-19. It comes as more and more experts, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, admit that an independent inquiry is necessary to determine whether the virus may have leaked from a laboratory in Wuhan. For more on this, let's bring in South Carolina Congressman Lindsey Graham. Senator, great to see you. Did I say Congressman?
I said it all worse. I think a lot worse.
Well, I could go back and try it again. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Sorry, I read too quickly here. So the president announced just a short time ago that he's giving the intelligence community, the IC, 90 days to study this and report back to him. Without any measure of transparency from China, though, do they have any hope of succeeding?
Not really. I think the only reason that Biden's doing this is becoming untenable not to look into whether or not the virus originated in the Chinese lab. We need to find out what happened so it never happens again. If the source of COVID-19 that turned the world upside down is from a lab in China, we need to hold China accountable for allowing that to happen. So Biden seems to be more intimidated by our enemies than President Trump. So having the intelligence community look at this is not going to be successful until the world rallies around the idea that China needs to be more cooperative. And the only way the world will rally around the idea of pushing back against China is for the United States to lead. So I'm looking for President Biden to issue a challenge to the world to come together and insist that we have an open and transparent investigation in China.
Senator, top of the hour, I was speaking to Mark Meadows, who was obviously chief of staff to
adorable.
President Trump, when the investigation was launched that we are now learning was brought to an end under the Biden administration. I aired for him the exchange with Senator John Kennedy and Dr. Fauci on the gain-of-function research and the trust that Dr. Fauci had that was not happening with the money that we gave them. You had an exchange with Dr. Fauci at that same hearing on the evidence of natural transmission. I want to get you to expand on this, but here's the exchange first.
Have we found any animals that carry COVID-19 that could have been the source of the transmission to humans thus far?
Thus far, not.
At what point in time would it become more likely it came from the lab if we don't find an intermediate animal host? How much longer?
I don't think we can give a time element on that.
Okay, so now the Biden administration says 90 days. They've asked the intelligence community to respond, whether this came from human contact with an infected animal or from a laboratory incident. They even, in this latest statement, Senator, I'm sure you've had a chance to read it, say the U.S. intelligence community's coalesced around 2 likely scenarios. So now the Biden administration is redoubling its efforts. They're saying, okay, 90 days, new investigation. But tell us what you were trying to get to the bottom of in that exchange there.
You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. If the first cases of COVID-19 occurred in November with lab workers, doesn't that make it more likely than not that the source of the virus was in the lab, not a wet market? So I think it's becoming increasingly clear. We haven't found an animal yet that is a good host for the virus. If the first cases involve lab workers in Wuhan, it's most likely they got it in the lab. So how can the Congress help President Biden? We should put together a sanctions regime against China, put in place sanctions until they fully cooperate with the international community to find out the source of the virus. I don't.
Funding came from, we have this in black and white from a peer-reviewed journal. She said the funding came from Dr. Fauci's National Institute AID, NIAID. This is Dr. Fauci's baby for 40 years. She lists him in the credits. He can't escape this. He did the funding. And my other question is, China's a rich country. They're kicking our butt in so many places. Why would we be giving them money for their research? Can't they spend their own money on their own research?
Senator Paul, Dr. Fauci calls your exchange a tit for tat, and he said he doesn't know what your problem is. That's because he's been placed on a pedestal, and no one thinks it's appropriate to question him. No one, it seems, except for you and a few others. Have you received the answers that you want? We saw in that clip you're asking him about using New York as a model, why you should be masked when you have already received the vaccine, and importantly, what you're talking about this morning, the origins of the coronavirus. He said to you directly, that's not true regarding his support of gain of function, when we know there's an editorial going back to 2011 that he has supported gain of function research. Have you received the answers you're looking for, Senator?
No, but we've sent inquiries. There's been freedom of information as well as inquiries from House oversight when it was under Republicans, and now from our office, Ron Johnson, others. We're asking specifically for some NIH papers and the conclusions, because in those conclusions, we believe it will be unequivocal from a group of scientists that they will conclude that yes, the Wuhan Institute was making these super viruses. Now, they're still going to argue they didn't fund it, but this is a really important argument. It's not a partisan argument. So when Dr. Fauci goes on these other channels and they laugh it up and yuck it up, but they never ask him, did you fund the Institute? See, he's trying to evade that he funded it at all. I asked him the general question. I didn't ask him whether he funded gain of function. I said, did the NIH fund the Wuhan lab? And he danced around it and answered a different question. But there is no question at all that the NIH funded this lab. Whether it was gain of function, there's many scientists, Dr. Ebright, Dr. Baltimore, many scientists out there. There were 200 scientists in the Cambridge Working Group that are worried about creating these super viruses in the lab and the possibility that they could get out. So this isn't just me. It's not partisan politics. Shouldn't be partisan at all. We should want to protect the public in case another virus like this could escape.
This is so crazy, though, because if this happened because of the NIH funding, and that came from Dr. Fauci, and then this spreads into a global pandemic, and now he's in charge of the response in the United States, the irony of that, what do you make of that?
Well, it's even worse than you make out. The person they appointed to investigate the lab from the WHO perspective is the guy who gave the money. So NIH gave the money to a group called EcoHealth. The head of EcoHealth, a guy named ADJUNCT, they got him to investigate whether Wuhan was doing anything inappropriate in their lab. But if they were, wouldn't he then be culpable? So doesn't he have a self-interest in smoothing things over? I'm not saying he did cover things up, but you wouldn't appoint someone who's in the line of supply chain of giving the money to them, because ultimately here's the rub. I don't know whether it came from the lab. Nobody knows whether it came from the lab, but who would be culpable? Dr. Fauci could be culpable for the entire pandemic. So could Dr. Dzank, and so could Dr. Shi. I'm not saying that happened. I don't know. But you wouldn't put the people who gave the money to the Wuhan lab in charge of the investigation. That looks like a cover-up.
No kidding. And it's curious that it seems like the only people asking about the origin of the coronavirus, which has killed tens of thousands of Americans, all seem to be Republicans, which is odd.
And it shouldn't be that way.
No,
there should be bipartisan concern. There's 11 labs in the United States that are cooking up and creating super viruses. That's worrisome.
Just the term super virus is pretty scary. Senator, Doctor, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We spend about $8 billion a year.
Yeah, this is science that shouldn't be done.
Better? Are they doing a better job at overseeing their money? Well, I don't know. This bill's going to increase their funding by 68%. There's $29 billion in this bill for the National Science Foundation.
Yeah, we can turn it. But this is Sky News Australia, and I watched this whole thing. Man, it was great. But he's doing the useless, funding, awarded to like study whether quails are more amorous on cocaine, whether they're more likely to breed more while they're doing cocaine.
This study is about Panamanian male fraud calls. So about $500,000. They wanted to know whether or not the male mating call
we're back
is different
to
in the country
these?
than it is in the city. Now, coming from a rural state like Kentucky, I can tell you the male mating call is different in the country than it is in the city.
He rolls it into the coop thing.
$500,000 spent on Panamanian frogs male mating call. This is not a good use of money. So if someone told you your government was spending this money, would you give them more? Would you give the agency more if they were doing this or less? I think less. In looking at the National Science Foundation spending, we also found that they spent $30,000 studying Ugandan gambling habits. Really? We're studying why people gamble in Uganda, why there's a black market in Uganda. Well, you know what? I think we know the reason. When government oppresses business and regulates business, they go to the black market. So if you make something illegal, you often get more of it. But we spent $30,000 traveling over to Uganda to study their gambling habits. Utter waste of money. We should not reward these people with more money. We spent about $500,000 on a video game. This is an app for your phone. I know we all need things to do when we should be working or at school. This is an app for school children to teach them alarmism over climate change. So you can click on the app and it'll scare you to death that California's going to be underwater in 100 years. None of which is true, all of which is alarmism, and $500,000 spent by the government to alarm our school children is not a good idea. This next study points out a problem with funding in general in our government. You give funds for something that ostensibly might be a good cause. So a couple of years ago, they gave money for autism, $700,000 for autism. You think, well, autism, even myself, as conservative as I am, I could probably say, well, that's something we ought to study, autism. Well, they subcontracted $700,000 of it to a bunch of egghead researchers to watch Neil Armstrong's statement on the moon. You remember the black and white photo? He's on the moon, and he says, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or did he really say, one small step for a man? So these researchers took $700,000 to listen to that cracked old cassette recording and find out.
$700K. I'll take that $700K and tell you, it doesn't matter, does it?
Nah, dude.
Okay, so Biden's name is no longer Biden; it's Grifton.
Well, obviously, it's like they took. So this is autism money. How did they fucking finagle that shit? I really don't understand how they got a chunk of that autism money to watch the moon landing over and over and over and over and over again and listen to it. You say a small step for a man or a small step for man.
He said that he did. He said one small step for a man.
Right.
Yeah, he said the line wrong. They wanted him to say it one way, right? And he ended up just changing it slightly.
I think it was accidental.
Sped up through the article there.
Right.
When he went from for and man, he kind of slurred it a little bit. But, I mean, he claims to have said one small step for a man, and it makes more sense that way. So just call it that and be done.
It doesn't really matter. Shit.
You quit being so stupid.
All right, so to make a long story short, okay, today the Congress voted with the 60% quorum unanimously to stop funding gain-of-function research today. So
good.
Yeah. So we'll see if it gets signed. What I wonder how gutsy the prez is about signing something like that. Or is he a chicken shit and will not sign it?
I'm betting he's going to veto it for some reason.
Maybe. All right. And this is real quick, and then
this is extraordinary. If I were talking about this yesterday, I was a conspiracy theorist, and now on Facebook, I'm perfectly legit.
That is the message from Facebook, and it shows how murky the world of misinformation and disinformation can be. Sometimes these incredibly complex scientific issues cannot be summarized by a simple, single fact check. And yet last year, there were attempts to fact check. There were attempts to debunk theories when this was really about a murky, unknown, unproven, unclear area, an unclear subject that Facebook and other platforms were trying to make clear. Here's the statement from Facebook overnight that explains this change in policy. They say, in light of ongoing investigations into the origin of COVID-19 and in consultation with public health experts, we will no longer remove the claim that COVID is man-made from our apps. We are continuing to work with health experts to keep pace with the evolving nature of the pandemic and regularly update our policies as new facts and trends emerge. Look, I think Facebook and other platforms were coming at this with good intentions, trying to weed out actual disinformation, trying to remove actual conspiracy theories from their platforms, especially in those very scary days.
I call it managing the narrative and controlling the narrative. I don't know about y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I call it codified takes these backsies.
Right. This is really rich coming from the poster child for disinformation.
No shit. I know, man.
In the spring of 2020. However, we can see in this situation, in this instance, how difficult it can be to be arbiters of truth, especially when the truth really isn't known and it's not actually fact-checkable.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it? And you risk breaking trust with people who now look at this and say, hey, we were silenced and we were censored, and hey, we were right all the time, or at least there wasn't such a black and white on this and there is a grey area.
Her hair is fabulous. fabulous.
huge challenge, and I agree with you. This shows it. Although I have to say, the skeptics will look at this and say Facebook has dragged its feet in the past, and it was completely on the front foot in light of the news of this investigation, because it means they have to do less work, at least on this point.
Misinformation.
Right, that's...
Yeah.
Right.
Anything that they don't want to have people post.
All right. And now this section of the show is a gift. It's from Uzi Q. She's been jamming on roller coaster vids lately, so I decided to put together a nice reel where we can discuss what we've been looking at,
That's fun.
Yeah.
Do I have to? I don't want to discuss this crap. Do we have to? Okay, yeah, we do discuss.
Well, we don't have. I mean, you can talk. Y'all talk about what you want to, man. It's like this is kind of like hey, this is the laid back, feel it out part of the show. So,
I was just being a smart ass. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to modify the format to where we can use this section as a way to break down what we saw, or maybe get some kind of some type of serenity, some type of group therapy out of it, right? To have some kind of catharsis. I don't know.
Well, I will say that it's interesting to watch the group of people that are turning into the personalities of the mainstream change so drastically, so quickly.
Right.
That's been kind of fascinating to watch. I didn't expect to see Candace Owens this big.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I used to hate her for doing that whole fucking...
that app thing, yeah.
Website.
Yeah.
He owned it, dude.
Yeah, the docs thing.
I know.
She's got a lot to make up for because of that app.
I know.
God, how many lives did she ruin with that thing?
Well, I don't think it ever got off the ground, so I guess she didn't really ruin anybody's life, but she could have. It could have. It's I think in retrospect, it seems like it's one of those things where she was told it was a good idea, right? So she put money into it, and then fucking shit backfired. People kind of used it against her too, because she wasn't doing jack shit with it.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I think.
Yeah, people use it against her later. Go ahead, sorry.
But she totally owned it though, and she's been trying to fix it ever since. And that's part of the reason she's taken up for underdogs everywhere. I mean, the big thing about Ryan Upchurch, he's got Confederate flags tattooed on his forearms, or at least one. He's just a good old Southern country boy. And she's out there standing up for him because he sings music and he's being falsely accused. She's never spoken to him. She didn't listen to his music or anything. She's just saying you don't falsely accuse people. So I think she really is truly trying to right some wrongs, or at least try to bring some true justice to the world. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think
Anybody that looks at the Confederate flag as a racist symbol has an issue.
That's funny
with
because,
not,
dude, I know.
Not with the flag. They have an issue with themselves. They are closed-minded. They have no idea what the fuck that flag means.
They also are incredibly ill-informed too. Yeah.
They have no idea what the history means. None of that shit. They don't know anything.
I got a picture of Ludacris in a Confederate flag jumpsuit doing a concert.
Hold on, Trippy. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I literally know both sides of the story. Dead serious. That race issue bullshit, that don't fly with me.
Yeah, no, I can't handle it either.
No. I know both sides of the story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I got into an argument before with a dude because I was like, people use that Confederate flag to celebrate their heritage, not celebrate racism. And they were like, oh, it's all about racism. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking retard. Because General Lee was never once racist, if you ask me.
Well, okay, you should see how quickly people get shut down in public saying that shit in Texas. You try to claim that the Confederate flag is racist in Texas, and you'll have black people walking up and getting in your face.
Yeah.
It's amazing how different it is here, because like I feel like you're more often than not, you're not gonna find anyone that doesn't think, oh, that's a symbol of hate or something. Just
I don't think it is, and I'm from Michigan.
No, okay, so it's really weird because I grew up in California and I wore a Confederate flag on a jacket I wore every day from the time I was like 13 until I was like 19, till the jacket finally fell apart.
yeah, I mean, like in the South, like I know, like when I visited down there, you know, I see the flag all the time. It's like all over the place, but here you never see it, you know. And so I think that maybe that's part of it. They don't, you know, they just don't associate it with something that's.
I was in Cali and nobody said a damn word.
Trust me, they're changing that. They're heavily changing it. They have been changing
You mean
it
for it being like banned or something? You mean? Or,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
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 I mean, look at the flag of my state. You know, it had the Confederate flag in the state flag, and they changed that. You know, you're talking about, matter of fact, perfect example, okay? I couldn't make this up. They wanted to change the mascot for Ole Miss from the Confederate general that they had.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to change it to the black bear.
What?
Yeah.
There's a loop-de-loop coming up, guys.
I mean, if that doesn't symbolize what they really want to do, they want to take it from one extreme to the other. Like
Right.
they see it as one thing, and then they want to take it to another. Like, and they
I
don't
feel
even.
dumber for hearing that name.
What?
I feel dumber just for hearing this idea.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. My high school, they did the same thing with it. Because my high school was it was the Rebels, and they eventually changed it to
the Black Bears.
It wasn't the Black Bears. I don't know what they changed it to.
The
But
armadillos.
you want to go from one to the other, all right? What are you doing here? I mean, you think you're actually doing something?
They're stomping their foot and saying nuh-uh. That's all they're doing.
All to the other fucking way. You know,
The black bears were oppressed because of their skin color under the fur.
Right.
They're just.
the only way they got away with it is because we do have black bears. They're not very common, but we do have black bears.
Dillas.
We do have them. So they got away with it. That's the only reason they really got away with it. Otherwise, it would have just been seen as a completely racial issue, which it was in the first place.
Should have changed the name of the team to the Aunt Jemimas.
So apparently they really just have a problem with people being rebellious, and they're trying to wipe out anything that symbolizes rebellion of any sort.
Exactly.
They,
That's exactly what we've been going through ever since 1776 and before that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. That's why that meme keeps coming up.
Well, yeah.
The exact ideology.
Yeah,
It's not the same situation, but it's the same ideology.
All right, so it's like what happens with our country is like what happens with teenagers, is that they start pushing boundaries, right? And I think we cycle in and out of this, like, conservative, liberal thing, and it's just a free form boundary that keeps going back and forth.
It's every like 10 to 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-year cycle.
Yeah,
It's generational.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely generational.
Conservative, so I'm going to be liberal.
Right. Well, you're not wrong, man. Pissing mom and daddy off, right? Yeah,
it's more like
shit.
grandparents were conservative, so the great-grandkids got to be liberal or whatever the fuck.
Which is totally rational, guys. We should really live our adult lives.
To an extent.
Trying to tell our parents to fuck off. That makes sense. We shouldn't just go live our adult lives and be happy.
Right.
We should just go try to piss on our parents. Even if we have shitty parents, guess what? My mom's a commie. Okay? My mom's a commie.
Yeah.
All right? I still don't have time for this shit. I don't bother with worrying about how she judges or would have thought of anything I've done. Since I turned 18, I haven't worried about dealing with it. So, everybody stop. Quit worrying about what other people are thinking and focus on what you're actually thinking instead of worrying about what other people are thinking about you. Goddamn childish narcissists.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, people do. Well, the younger generation does push back on the older, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the exact opposite.
Well, no, because they say that right now, a lot of the younger generation are more conservative than, like ours.
Well, the youngest generation now is very conservative compared to the rest.
I mean, look what they're exposed to constantly. They're always told that white people are the racist ones, everybody else are the good ones. That shit's rampant. And I think the kids need to rebel against that shit, and I think that's what they're doing.
Oh, no, no.
Absolutely.
Over half of Gen Z is very based.
That's exactly what brought me to actually talking to people online. Because I've literally seen this shit my entire life. And everybody else is just now seeing what I've been seeing for 20 years. And I'm like, catch up, man. Like, come on. You know, like,
yeah, man, being in the South is you know, race relations looks a lot different down here. I don't know about you, man, but I don't know.
The older black people, they're cool.
They're awesome.
They are cool. It's the younger generation.
Yeah.
The generation that has
Not
grown
wrong.
up, my generation, you know, within the media generation, within the internet generation, you know, the invention of the internet completely changed humanity.
Yes.
Altogether. You know, only because information is coming at you so fast that you cannot keep up with it. That's why we build these communities that we build. You know, it's because we cannot keep up with everything all ourselves, so we rely on everyone else around us to be able to help us. You
Well,
know,
it's the only way, yeah, because there is really just too much information. There's no way to process it all.
Right.
Huh. And it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. The exponential, you know, advancement in technology is only going to get worse. Period. So we have to be on top of all this. We have to keep doing what we do.
Very true.
Couldn't agree more.
It's kind of the same generation, though, that thinks that having the most expensive thing makes them the best person. Isn't it? Same generation, basically.
Yeah, but okay.
I think that's an American thing, man. You know,
It's a
materialistic thing.
It's a consumer generation. It's not necessarily a American generation. You know, because if you take in account the what do you call it? The pop culture in Japan, that they had a whole bunch of people over there, a whole bunch of females specifically, that were trying to make themselves look more Black Asian, all because of American culture. American culture, it spreads to the entire world.
Yeah, because we're the biggest, baddest motherfuckers. We're the best country, or we used to be. I don't know. We used to be.
We
or
still
are. I'm pretty sure we
We
still
still-
are, because it's like, dude, all I hear is bitching about America. So, in my opinion, that must mean we're doing something right.
One thing that I want to say right now is don't let shit fool you right now. All right.
That's why everybody wants to
all,
come here.
With all the censorship that we've endured these past couple of years and everything, yeah, everything is fucked up. Everybody's numbers are down and all that. But don't let that discourage you. There are people behind you. They're everywhere. there are people supporting everybody. This is what
majority.
we do. You know, that's what I'm talking about with the community. You know, we just got to keep going. You know, we're fighting a lot of things that are against us right now. So just keep that in mind. But, you know.
Well, fix it, Neil. Fix it.
Well, there are a lot of institutions, and I think y'all are right. Race relations is far more relaxed in the South than it is in the North.
Yeah.
It's far more relaxed. Things are very passive aggressive up here, and it's very unnerving.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets passive aggressive down here, but it's usually the youngins. Neil's hit the nail on the head. You know, people like my age and a little bit younger, we're fine, man. We all, you know, it was working.
It was.
You know, 9/11, man, even brought us even tighter. You know, we were all as we were one country. You know, and then all this shit that's happened during the Obama administration, man. You know,
So you didn't vote for Obama. You was a racist.
Well, it's
the GOP wins when there's just one country. When there's a divided country and people are starting to think that it's two different countries, then the Dems win.
Yep.
Yeah, because divided we fall. You know.
Well, then you lose everything. Because Dems can't math.
It always comes back down to power politics to try to control Congress and try to get the White House. If they control Congress and get the White House, they're 2/3 of the way to guaranteeing that their party will stay in power forever. And it doesn't matter which party it is; both parties act that way.
Yep.
Right, and they're two sides of the same fucking coin. Right? Yep. Why even go with this fucking pretense? We've been a one-party country for years. I mean, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been.
They're all in it, man. That's what the deal was with Trump. Why did not the fucking Republicans, you know, deal with Trump? Get him a package together like the fucking Democratic majority did for Obama in his first 2 years in office, and put together something big and awesome, right?
Because he was an outsider.
Because he was fucking their money up.
Exactly, dude. And they don't like that shit.
Right.
Oh no, this guy's doing.
No, man. There is a money there's like a money highway. Speaking of highways,
Give a fuck about it either.
Right.
That was kind of perfect because I was just going to reference a human caterpillar, and I would say Trump refused to shove his head up somebody else's ass and become part of that machine.
Exactly.
And that's why they refused to work with him.
Caterpillar, man. How about, what is it? Human centipede?
That's what I was thinking of. Human centipede. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's fun, man.
No, the Caterpillar could be another sequel because there's like 3 of those Centipede movies.
Yeah. Well, no, the caterpillar was like they cut their arms and legs off too, and yeah.
What are you talking about?
The movies, Human Centipede, man.
I've heard of the Human Centipede. I haven't seen it, but
now we're talking about
the second one was really good. Actually, the second one's creepy as fuck.
yeah, should I watch them all?
Watch the second one if you like horror, man.
A movie?
I heard the third one's the silliest.
Yeah.
Was it a documentary?
That's the one with the caterpillar, dude. It's funny as shit. Yeah, it is a comedy.
Oh God, that sounds
Johnny,
awful.
it's a movie. Would you watch it? Human Centipede, where they soak somebody's mouth.
I thought it was from South Park, man.
No,
it's a German. It's German angst horror cinema, man. Yeah.
You're talking about the Human Centipede
Yeah.
episode. Human Centipede.
What the fuck are you all watching?
Human Centipede, dude. Man, we got to turn Johnny onto that.
Reevaluate. No, I need to reevaluate who I hang out with.
No,
maybe
so. Man.
I'm not like the biggest horror fan or anything. You should ask Becca and see if she's seen it.
Yeah, see, I've been turning back on to some good shit. We're into French shit.
Yeah,
I'm fixing to turn her on to Old Boy.
I have no idea what
French
these
are.
people are talking about with this human centipede thing. I usually watch things like El Dorado and old John
There
Wayne.
you go. There you go. There you go.
Treasure Sierra Madre is a
certainly
great
don't
movie.
Sit down and spend 2 hours watching 4 people with their mouths so to other people's assholes.
Hey, that's
Unless I'm watching Congress,
Maybe.
you know.
Yeah, Congress is basically that. But Johnny was thinking of iPad. That was
But
literally based on that movie.
No, actually,
But literally, that's the money. That's the money machine model. You know, in Washington. You know, and the swamp is rife with them. There's all these human centipedes of money, man. And when Trump got elected, it fucked that up for everybody. And you know,
well, yeah, he exposed it. He exposed it for the
Well,
sham that it is.
yeah,
Well, it's
but
bullshit. There
Look
should
at
be no
every
fucking
politician.
but he's
Look at every single politician right now, and then go look at their net worth when they first came into Congress.
exactly Maxine Waters.
They are worth 50 to 100 times more.
Yeah.
Or now than they were when they got elected.
Maxine Waters is the
Fucking
perfect
sham.
example of that shit.
So is Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Trump became less rich while he was president.
Maybe I ought to run for Congress.
He's bad. Orange man.
He's bad boy. You notice that, like, everybody's saying, like, they'll refer to some some asshole they don't like, right? And they'll be like, he's probably a Trump supporter. It's like, what in the fuck are you talking about? Everybody, or not everybody, but all these different fucking people on YouTube and everywhere else are like, oh, Trump is bad. It's like, okay, how about we sit down and you tell me what you think is so fucking bad? Or are you just reiterating what you heard on TV?
Well, the fact
Trump took a picture with Snoop Dogg. Does that make Trump a fucking rapper?
Well, the fact that the Clinton Global Initiative is reopened now that Biden's been elected tells you everything, I think, in my opinion.
Dude, that was the biggest scam to begin with, dude. It was being investigated.
Yeah.
He just said that Biden just said that his economy is doing great. Like, what?
His economy, because he raised gas prices.
Gasoline's like 3 times higher than it was, man. It's almost as much as it was when Obama was president. What the fuck?
Well, and
Consumer
apparently
prices have gone up 4% in a month.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Dude,
In
it's inflation.
The situation is way worse than
Here in California, food and gas.
way worse than
Here in California, food and gas have gone up at least 50. Shit, 12-pack of Pepsi used to cost $2.50. It costs $5 now.
Damn.
It is doubled in price. The food prices here in California are insane.
Well, if food prices have always been insane in Cali.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Not like that.
But
he doesn't know any different. He's never been outside the state. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, $12 for a hamburger is a lot of goddamn money. Right?
Oh, who the fuck pays $12 for a hamburger?
I don't know. Man.
Gordon Ramsay's got a restaurant where he sells a $106 hamburger, no fries.
Of course he does. No fries.
I have no idea what you put on
No
a
fries.
$106 hamburger.
Man,
No fries. I'm freaking out on the fries.
You know what you do, Roasted? You eat that burger in front of Gordon and you just soak that bitch in ketchup. And really piss
That's
him
right.
off.
Man, look at this rickety fucking roller coaster, man. This thing has not been maintained well. This is scary.
This looks like the Colossus at San Bernardino.
It may be. It may be.
Mountain.
Yes, it's the Colossus. I think
looks
this is
like
it. Yeah.
Oh no, it really does look like the Colossus. Well, it's like 35 or 40 years old, guys. I think this was built in like the late 70s.
Yeah.
This shit's old. It's fun. Well, it was fun
we
when I
have
was
like
a kid.
a wooden one too.
Yeah,
at one of our parks. They're
that's the
pretty
Colossus.
fun.
There's a couple at Cedar Point like that.
Yeah,
I think the wood ones are just way more
Those
intense.
were all eucalyptus.
Yeah, they seem so much more scary.
They are scary. Like you can hear everything.
Yeah, creaking and shit. It's like, I don't know, mama.
They make that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mopus. I like you too,
Yeah,
bro.
I heard the Colossus actually creaks while you're going up it.
Yes.
Yes,
That's not what I want from my roller coaster.
Right.
And I'm taking my kids.
2 decades, too.
I'm taking my kids there this summer. Yeah. No.
Well, all right, the first one that we watched is done on maglev technology, where it shoots from one end to the other, back and forth, and it's magnet. It's the magnets create the flow, right, and then they reverse it so you can go backwards the other way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man.
So it's like 2 roller coasters in one.
Yeah.
Hey, there's an unknown archive. He's just like, thumbs up.
Now check this one out.
All y'all are doing is making me realize
Oh,
that
what
my
an
glasses
implant.
are shit.
Yeah, I feel you.
That shit looks.
I still got to get my cataracts cut out, man. At some point, I really don't want to fuck with that shit.
Can I have them?
Oh please, yeah, I'll be glad to mail them to you. Right, just like yeah.
And I've got I used to have a lazy eye when I was little, when I was like 4.
Grandpa's wife.
Damn.
Yeah. Instead of powder, should have sent her my cataracts.
Senator powdered cataracts.
Now this is like, what the fuck is going on with this thing, man? It's like, okay, here we go.
One of
Oh
those.
God.
Dude.
Oh, put me in a little hole. No.
Couple of G's on that one, man.
Damn.
I like how I was like smoking. That was cool.
They got a couple at Cedar Point that just like lift you up and drop you, or shoot you through a loop-de-loop, and then you go up like a little hill and it stops at the end. That shit's scary.
Just no thank you.
You know?
No thank you on the dropping in the hole. That looked like a mine shaft. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, and Becca's throwing links in there for the Insomnist, for Johnny Bonsacco. Everybody subscribe to these people. They're awesome. We want to grow this this little town that we're building here. All right, and we're gonna go. Mason donates $5 and says, "Excuse me." While this thing does this thing, the one time you need a Twitch chat for me tonight, you read an insult, so I'm out of context. It sounded like a compliment. I love you, but I was trying to mess around there. Sorry, dude. It's like it caught my eye, and I'm just doing all kinds of shit here. Yeah, look at that thing, man. It's like, are you getting on that shit?
Probably. I mean, I can't really turn down a roller coaster.
No, I know. I love them too, man.
In a hole, man.
Yeah. And then here comes this. They slowly ramp up the drama here, right?
Wow, that
the
was
suspense.
a real
It stops the
Right into what looks like a mine shaft, and I'm like,
wow,
that's insane. I like that idea.
I
used to play
wonder
roller
where that
coasters
is.
back then.
There's pine trees everywhere.
I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll tell you that later. I can't remember what's what. Now this is in Dollywood. Yeah. There's 2 of them in Dollywood. And they look like they were made by the same company because these cars are really uniquely weird looking.
That looks like it smells like chlorine.
Probably
does. Yeah. I thought
is that just me?
It looks like it smells like pee.
Like water park
ruins.
Yeah, I don't know, like that kind of like.
Is that the Blair Witch House?
That
You
fake
think?
rock makes me think of it.
It could be. Oh no, I was going to say Jersey Devil, but that's like New Jersey.
He's in the corner.
Actually, that looks super pretty now. It's like actually outside.
See Michael.
I mean, that would be like you burn one, man, and then you just like get on this thing and just kind of just chill out, and it's almost
enjoy
like
it for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like up in Georgia where Uzi's mom has a place. There's this river raft ride where you just like get in the fucking inner tube and just like hang for like 30 minutes. and float down the river to another spot where, they pick you up. It's just laid back shit.
That's kind of nice. I could enjoy that.
Not Victoria.
I just seen that snake over there. It's about to fucking get real.
That's how Johnny looked.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a little nut.
It's about to get real.
I love roller coasters, too. I've never met one I won't get on.
You put a Jason Voorhees out there, scared the shit out of him. There's like a bazillion stories on how that fucking Jason noise came to be, too. That's Michael Myers.
Oh, wrong movie.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about all the chain link like that because it looks kind of beat to shit as you're going by it.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll let it go.
Look how it's curved.
Oh, this is kind of like made to look sketch, right?
Yeah.
I think, it's newer than it wants to look. So it's
Holy shit, dude. Okay, I would go on this.
Yeah, that looks fun, doesn't it?
Beautiful. I would love this.
I would go on this.
Siobhan's our nature lady.
Yeah, I'm like.
No, that's cool, man. I dig it. We're all so different. It's awesome.
Till a deer jumps in front of it.
I didn't even think about that.
Dude, and that shit's happened, maybe.
That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, it has to.
Right?
Stop carrying deer treats.
We're carrying deer treats, Trippy.
Oh
shit. Man, it is fucking 5 after 1. Lordy. Yeah, we got about 21 minutes of shit, so I'm going to stop it. And we'll finish this up next week, and I'm going to get some more water slide shit because irate is like 11 having the pool open, right? All right.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Yeah.
I got some sun open. Yeah, I've shaved my head like it needed to be. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I look
legs.
Now I look like a fat Neptune.
Earlier, it's fucking 6 degrees, dude. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? 40-something degrees. Michigan weather wild.
Yeah, no, it's finally going to start warming up this weekend, and then I think it's supposed to kind of
3 days ago. And then it just dropped. It was like, no, fuck you.
We had 10 days of decent weather, and then it was fucking freezing and cold, and then and today's supposed to be the last day of uncomfortable. But I don't believe them. I think they're fucking lying. Sorry.
I mean, it comes and goes. It's like, for Michigan, it's like, oh, you thought summer was coming? Nope.
Yeah.
Oregon has been doing it oh, you think it's spring? That's so cute. That's adorable. Go ahead and plant things for spring.
It was 91 here the other day.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, we're getting early, low 90s already. Yeah. It's going to be a good summer.
It's good.
Great summer to move. Just saying.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be moving right at the beginning of September, actually. So, but we're going to be piecemealing it, take some books here and take some, and I think we'll be able to make it happen for a lot cheaper than, it is what it is. So, all right. And this is the point where we chill out because this show has a format. And although I get retarded and forget that we're on a show. And I want to welcome all the new, I'm getting some new subs. I appreciate it because out of nowhere for the past 2 weeks, I've lost 4 subs a week. So I don't know. Maybe people are leaving and that's fine. That's cool. To each his own. But I don't know. It just seems like
come back though.
They're fucking with me.
Yeah, dude.
I don't
know what mine says. I haven't been looking.
It doesn't affect my ego.
Okay, good.
Right.
You pooped your pants?
Yes, he did.
Damn it.
Well, you know what that means.
I get the smell it in the game.
All right, we're gonna pop in here and have some fun.
Nice.
So, all right. A is for Atema. Sheila?
Hey. My channel is a dead channel for a little bit longer. I'm still working on that. You heard me bitching. So you should check out the links that BECCA and FTW Nil have been putting in because they're everybody's channels. And you guys should go watch those things. And watch those channels and listen to those peoples because they're interesting peoples. And you should also check out independent musicians and artists because they're going to destroy all the bad things that you're dealing with if you support them because they don't support all the bad stuff that's in the media. So go check out those people too. And make sure you're actually still sub to Irate because I know that I noticed that I got unsub from a lot of people as well.
Yeah,
So,
it happens, man. So, all right, B is for Bonsako. Chill it, bro.
Oh, hey. Because BECCA was shilling so well. BECCA's streaming Sunday night, 8 Central Standard Time. What is it, 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. And then we'll be on my show, my channel, 8 Pacific, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Killer. All right, Shigon, what about you?
Yeah, so next Thursday I will be on the Informative Massacre Porn show with on a Bubonic for You's channel. BECCA already shared that. And then I would just want to mention that Insomnist is having a tiny just a hiatus right now. They are normally on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but right now Object's kind of filling in the same time slot without Somnus, so I will link that in the chat. So
Okay.
he will be on kind of fill in their time slot until they come back up.
Fair enough. Neil, what about you?
Yeah, go ahead and check out TOS, aka Shroom. I dropped him in the links in the chat. And, go check him out, man. Like,
Yeah, check out Tori Ain't Nice. Because I know you have been, Neil. Yeah, there were some sparks. I made a love connection.
Yeah, we saw
That's right.
that.
That's all right.
We
So.
saw that.
All right, roasted opinions, man.
Still working on that follow-up video on infrastructure going into Joe Biden's freaking proposals on his budgets, which will actually take the budget deficit higher than the total budget was in 2006.
Holy shit.
As soon as I get it done, tune in and watch it. I guarantee you'll learn a little something and hear me bitching and moaning again.
Is there truth to that we're spending $2 million every minute?
Oh no,
or is it $2 million a second?
Too low.
Huh?
Wait, $2 million a minute is way too low for what we're spending. The projected deficit for 2022 budget is $1.6 trillion.
Right.
If you do the math out on that, it's several $billion a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
maybe because I was listening, I heard somebody say that. So it was $2 million every second is what they're spending, I think.
Let me do some quick math and I'll answer that for you.
Confirm it. And while we're doing that, we'll talk to Stone Monkey.
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitch Wednesdays and Sundays.
Are you digging up being over there, man?
I like it. It is quite fun. I like the custom emojis.
He does.
Sweet. What about you, Trippy?
I'm going to be live on a Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or 11 o'clock, not 11:30. Well, yeah, I guess that's my show, but I don't even know what we're talking about. I, never do anymore.
I feel you.
It'll be fun though.
I feel you. You know, like, all right, so for my deal, it's like I don't know what we're doing on XD tomorrow. We may go through that 44-minute teachers thing from Beaverton, West Oregon. I want to say Wisconsin every time. I don't know.
That'll get me
That's
fired up.
That's something to talk about. And
I can give you the culturally specific shit for involved in that too, if you'd like.
Sweet.
If you want to go over that, so.
Yeah. That's excellent. And Excel will probably be there, but we'll see. But if not, we're still flying tomorrow night.
Okay.
All right. Sunday, I'll be talking with Sheograph, one and only Shio. That's right. Going to be in the chair. And then Monday on Twitch, me and Becca are going to be looking at more anti-communism stuff. And then we're going to put together a special to what can you do in your life to reverse some of the things that have happened that Yuri Bezmenov predicted. Okay. And it was because of hard work. But anyway, on that note, I don't got anything else to say. What about y'all?
Can't think of another.
Rivet. Rivet.
Hanka. That's right. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Zane.
Luego.
Bye.